Business and the proceedings on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube as we hit Week 8, Night 1, Term 2, 2025, third last round of the championship. Waste Options GT night for you. We start with GT4 coming to you live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval in Concord, North Carolina. And then, of course, on to the Temple of Speed as we dish up some Italian flavour for you for the second Monday in succession in Waste Options GT3, the fourth and final sprint round of the campaign. And we're ahead of a 60-minute race next week, and then, of course, a 90-minute affair the week after. A huge night ahead of us here. Good evening, everybody. Zach Cabe and Adam Lavis with you. Welcome to Monday Night Motorsport across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube, the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And it is 12 o'clock local time there, April 14, 2025, 13 kilometre an hour winds, southerly direction, 32 degrees, the ambient and on-track weather condition at the moment. Dry conditions, 70% humidity, cloudy skies, but set fair for a good night of racing here. The championship, and that circuit, by the way, 3.58 kilometres. You know it as the home of one of the NASCAR playoff races, the NASCAR Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval, and that's the configuration we're running tonight. Aidan Carl, Sam Muir, and Andrew Dyson, the top three in this championship at the moment. Alex Court, Jake Edwards, Jordan Malcolm, the next three through. Malcolm and Muir have taken pole here tonight in the front row lockout for the 1-9 stable. 3:11 plays 283, 28 the deficit. A lot to play for as we get ready to circulate around behind the course car on this formation lap. And it will be a full one-lap formation as well, ladies and gentlemen. Jordan Malcolm, Sam Muir, front row, Aidan Carl. Alex Court second, Brian Levitt, Joe Baldwin, of course, Western Australia Day, of course, over there in the People's Democratic Republic of Western Australia. Joe Baldwin starting from the outside of row 3, Brett Bradbury, David Baz, and then Darren Miller and Blake Fitz, the top 10. Depleted field tonight, Paul Wood, Tony Baker, Martin Davis, Mitchell McLeod and Eduardo Zamora make up our 15-car field. We're ready to go. Cars rolling behind the pace car as we get set for what should be 23, 24 laps worth of racing here. As we said, cloudy skies, Aston Martin lock out of the front row, Mercedes lock out of the second row. No Andrew Dyson tonight. No Jake Edwards either. So a couple of our top runners in the championship nowhere to be seen. No Ryan Bettis either. So Adam Lavis, good evening to you. It should be a beauty, this. We're ready to rock and roll. It's still in 16th. Hello, Nick Fodiatis. Good evening to you. As far as the championship fight is concerned, yeah, he's going okay. Is good old Nick. It'll be interesting to see how he goes throughout the course of the evening. Scott Jordison in here to have a chat with us and say good day too as we get ready to rock and roll. It is a tie for 16th, Nick, with Mark Snow. Adam Lavis, good evening to you. Here we go. The Charlotte Roval, bit of conjecture in the lead-up. A couple of drivers having a whinge because certain cars are liking the back straight chicane, certain cars are not. Should make for a very interesting 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's always tricky with multi-car racing. Yeah, some cars suit different tracks more than others or different aspects. So it's going to see if these guys can get these Astons and bring them back in.
Back straight. We're going through the motions of the formation lap here, folks. Clock will reset, currently showing 3 minutes 50 elapsed, but that will reset, of course, once they take the green flag and the race gets underway. 30 minutes to journey. At a minute 16 a lap, we're anticipating 23, 24 laps of racing here. 4 laps every 5 minutes. 5 times 6 is 30. 4 times 6 is 24. You know where we're going. So
this is the interesting thing. We've got the fast bus stop, the final curb here, that double sausage. That's where the issues are. If you hit that double sausage on the exit, it's going to throw the car. So you need to get your first 3 apexes right to make sure that fourth one doesn't throw you into the fence.
The milk, is that a reference to the Indy 500s that have been run over the course of the last month?
You'd think so.
Sure. You would think so. Set to rock and roll. As I said, business end of the championship, third last round. It's a 3-race program for us tonight because we've got the fourth and final sprint round of Waste Options GT3 to follow. And as I said, consecutive weeks touring through Italy. Off racing. Jordan Malcolm not waiting for anybody. See you later. He's gone. Spread eagles the field on the run to turn 1. Vitally important for his championship teammate and rival Sam Muir to get the better of Aidan Cale here tonight. Joe Baldwin's made an okay start. Fends off Brett Bradbury. A lot of those guys have missed the jump completely, though, because Jordan Malcolm has gone before the chicane. Often racing at the Charlotte Roval. It's a 1.912, Orbit Drop Bear 3, Quantum Motorsports 4. And when we get to GT3, I never got to finish the point, as I said. Get your pizza, get your pasta, get your garlic bread ready, folks. Real Italian flavour. Second week in a row in which we go racing in Italy in the main course on a Monday night. Last week it was Imola. This week it's sprint racing from the Temple of Speed, Monza. We will bring you the Pro-Am Sprint and the Pro Feature from that round, and that's coming up 8:45 Eastern. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. 8:45 Thursday night main course, of course. 8:30 tonight. Remembering that this is the last of the sprint rounds. Next week it's 60 minutes. The week after it's 90. Some big racing to come in GT3. And we remind you as well that the week 10 race will start at 8:45 because this round of GT4 in that particular week will be 45 minutes, not 30. One lap complete, three-way fight for second. Aidan Cale, Alex Court latching on and going with Sam Muir, but Jordan Malcolm is already clear. 1.96 seconds to the good. It's set up perfectly for Jordan Malcolm to knock this one out of the park tonight. Hello, Chris Whitaker. Good evening. How did I know that was coming? He's tagged Trent Lavis in the comment as well, I reckon. So we'll hear from Trent very shortly, no doubt. Trent's been a busy boy out at Morgan Park in recent times.
Can't sleep. Dorsal get me.
Yeah, exactly. CW, I'm disappointed too, by the way. You take off to Christchurch, you come back. You haven't got your car ready for Morgan Park this weekend. So I'm disappointed that we won't be seeing you out there for round 3 of Prod Sports, and I won't be at round 4, so I'll eventually catch up with you, I'm sure. Yes, that's true. Watch out for Max spitting his dummy. Yes. So, no spoiler alert.
There it is.
Oh, forward's gone!
Saved it.
There's the first one. The Merc bites the dust. And the grass in this particular instance. He caught it, he saved it, but by gee. Nick Fodiatis making his feelings about this configuration of the circuit well known. And of course, I haven't seen, I must apologise, I've been catching up on home and away today, so I haven't seen IndyCar yet. I will have a look at what unfolded on the streets of Detroit a little bit later on, but I did see Formula One last night. We are certainly up and about when it comes to F1 at the moment. Very excited about the progress of one Piastri and McLaren, and another historic night out for him. Blake Fitz, the Merc curse. He's on pit road. Oh, that's why. He got clouded in the front left, spun 180 degrees, and that's on the tow road. It was Eduardo Zamora that got him. 3, 2, 1. Oh. Goodbye. Now to the outside. And Darren Miller under pressure here from Mitchell McLeod. McLeod in the Merc, Miller in the Merc. Now they're coming to the main straight, to the chicane. Got him. Job done. Miller slots back into 10th. McLeod goes up into 9th. Zamora, Baker Davis and Wood make up the 14. 1:16.671. Jordan Malcolm, fastest lap of the race. Aston had to be good somewhere. Exactly. Oh, wide goes Brian Lovett. The Porsche trips up. Could be a long slog, this 30 minutes of GT4, I'm not going to lie. But great to be back at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Road. Oh, David Baz to the outside of Brett Bradbury. On a constant holiday, yeah. He's a sponsor of Prod Sports this year too, Nick, and that's the thing. I haven't had a chance to catch up with him at Prod Sports round. I was in Bega for round 1. He was in Christchurch for round 2. He's a non-starter for round 3. I've got a Perth commitment in round 4. So maybe September, I'll speak to the great man in person. It was amazing seeing these things live at QR, says Kurt Nommenson. Oh, did you go to the Speed Series, Kurt? I had other commitments with the rugby league here over the course of the weekend, and considering I could watch it on the telly for free, it made sense to stay home. A few complaints about the TV coverage there. The only one I complained about is it took them all weekend to get the totem pole that you can see on the left-hand side of your screen there, folks, up and about, to show you who's who in the zoo and what they're doing and how they're going about it. David Baz, 5th place at the moment. Correct. Absolutely. Overall sports sedans there. Of course, this weekend, supercars in Western Australia. Actually, to be fair, can we just have a chat about that for a moment? Can we just, I mean, really, and I've said this before, and David Baz is there in 5th place at the moment in the Bimmer, and I just want to give that the due recognition that it deserves, because it's great to see Bimmer back out there, and it's great to see him competitive. You've got Aston Merc, BMW, Porsche, 4 different manufacturers in the top 6. No McLarens on the grid tonight. This is what happened to Joe Baldwin.
Oh, he's broken suspension.
Oh, no. Yep, she's going nowhere. Sorry, Joe. Truckers on the pit road. Porsche's horrible around here, according to Brett Bradbury. He's already parked up and done. Early exit for Brett. Oh, dear. Said to Sam Collins and podiumed, says Podiatus. Pickup and GT4 was probably the best race. Yeah, actually, so I'm going to come back to the Speed Series. I do want to cover that off in a moment. Porsche's horrible around here, says Brett Bradbury. He's already parked up. That was what happened to Joe. He's gone to pit road.
I'm not sure where.
A fast repair.
I'm not sure where he's first on the touch. I'm assuming it'd be the. There's the wall when you go back onto the banking where if you just touch it, it explodes the car. So one of those things with this track, it's on any layout you do with the Roval. It's just the wall there is known death. So that's, I'm assuming as well. But it's on the left hand side of the car though. So yeah, I'm not sure where he's got that one.
So Jordan Malcolm's lead is now out to 5 seconds, so he's just really hooked up and dialed in tonight. There's no doubt about that. And whatever he's worried about with regards to time he might lose on pit lane transit, with regards to the guys that fuel save and spend less time on the box, etc., don't have to worry about that here. Do not have to worry about that here, because he's got 5 seconds to play with. He's fine. Sam Muir is under pressure from Alex Court. That's not good news for Sam in the sense that Aidan Cale has found his way through. So Aidan Cale is doing everything he needs to do to stay in championship contention and stay in the lead of, and stay in control of the points table at the end of this round. Remembering, of course, folks, that next week, which is Monday the 9th of June, the penultimate round of GT4 will take us to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park and then to Watkins Glen. Now, I'm a little bit frustrated by the depletion of the GT4 field in recent times. Those 2 circuits are incredibly popular. Let's hope that GT4 gets the attendance it deserves and the support it deserves in the final 2 weeks of the campaign. Not just for waste options and for broadcast and for whatever else, because they're 2 magnificent circuits for racing, well worth the price of admission. Let's hope we see a few more bums on seats, in seats, for those final 2 rounds, because it's fair to say that we've had a fair, drop-off in participation in this series. Paul Wood again. Curb again. Woodsy might be going to the back of the garage here. He's in 12th at the moment. Joe Baldwin 13th. That is David Baz in 5th still. Is Woodsy coming around or going to pit lane? He's coming round. He's going to continue. Good to see. Jordan Malcolm, Aidan Cale, Sam Muir, Alex Court, David Baz. You saw in the Porsches at Watkins Glen the other night the sort of racing it produces. Motorsport, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, also a favourite. Let's hope we see 40 of these things, 30 at minimum, on the grid for the next 2 weeks to see out the campaign of GT4. GT3, of course, their run home looks a little bit different. Real European flavour to it tonight, and next week and the week after. We go Monza, we go Spa, we go Nordschleife. So we're stuck in Mediterranean Europe for the next few weeks. So that's going to be good fun. Just going back to what Kurt Nommensen was saying, because of various different reasons, Aiden Carter pit lane, thank you, Adam Lavis, for the pointer there. Lap 8, that was the other... Okay, let me come back to Kurt's mention of the Speed Series and other things. I want to address a couple of things and get a couple of things off my chest tonight with regards to motorsport and scheduling and calendars and all that sort of stuff. I'll get back to that. Can we just have a chat about what's going on here? Aiden Carl, David Baz have come to pit lane on lap 8. Are you worried about your teammate Joe Baldwin, Adam, in the sense that he stopped on lap 5? Do you reckon he might have another trip down the pit lane as a result of that? Because it was about the 7.5 minute mark.
He'd be tight, and Joe isn't the best at fuel saving, so he may have to get some practice tonight.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Yeah, it's still perplexing me. I'm not sure where on the track he would have, because there was no report of him spinning or having a lose or going off track. So just not sure where he would have hit something on the left-hand side, unless he's got that tyre wall there or something along those lines, or whether just one of the curbs has just got him bad. So we'll have to have a chat to him a little bit later, find out what folded the front left suspension on him.
For sure. Right, yeah. So we're being told that Aiden Carl got launched on the curb, and hence why he stopped on lap 8 as well. Eduardo Zamora's in now. Paul Wood's off the road again. Yeah, so just about half the field is now stopped already. And Aiden Carl, even with that stop, Adam, has come back out in 6th place. There you go. Interesting. 17:40 to go. We're on lap 10. And the lead for Jordan Malcolm is now 8 seconds. It's ballooned out again. Aiden Carl's stop was 10.62. For context, this is what happened to Aiden Carl.
Let's have a look. He can't go back
far enough. It's the back plate.
That's yeah, he's got damage on the side there. So.
I know. Yeah, this is the run into pit lane, I should say.
Unfortunately, the next instance a whole minute ahead of that one, so we'll have to look at that later.
Yeah, that's all right. Very hard with the ovals to get off-track alerts at the right places at the right times for the right incidents. 17 minutes to go. Joe Baldwin back out there in 11th place now, chasing Eduardo Zamora. He'll be a little bit frustrated by that, I'd imagine.
That's the wall you don't want to touch.
There we go.
That's a bad one. He looks like he's got away with it, but yeah, you get, like even that light of a rub can for some reason destroy your car in this track. So you gotta be careful of that one.
Speaking from personal experience, are we, Adam?
Yeah, I can't remember what car it was, but I just kissed it. Next thing I was going straight ahead into the outside wall.
Yeah, and the other thing too, Paul Wood's been held on pit lane. He was there for 43 minutes and 17 seconds. So
I think you mean 43.17 seconds, not 43 minutes.
Sorry, 43. Yeah, 43.17 seconds. Sorry, you're right. Brain wave failure on my part. But yeah, he's now gone down a lap and parked up. Actually, Woodsy is done. So Woodsy's done for the night.
He's going to go over and try and get another broadcast win.
He doesn't. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't like ovals. So I think he'll be adding Rovals to the list as well now. There's Paul Wood. Frustrating night for him in the Merc.
He would just think it stands
3 retirements already. We're down 20%.
He would just think it stands for rubbish oval.
Jordan Malcolm, Sam Muir, Alex Court, Mitchell McLeod. Brian Levitt's just got by Mitchell McLeod. McLeod's coming to pit lane. Aiden Carroll, the best placed of those two, have stopped, and only 6 drivers now left to transit the lane. 3 retirements already. We've lost 20% of the field. We're not yet quite at half race distance. We're about to complete we're on the 12th lap. We're about 11.5 laps through. Jordan Malcolm's hitting the back straight as Darren Miller's coming to the main straight to the start-finish line and to complete another lap. By Mitchell McLeod he goes. Martin Davis goes with him, but these two are yet to stop. Aiden Carroll, best placed of anyone. 2 have stopped, but Jordan Malcolm's the form man tonight. Up 8.6 seconds on his teammate. Tony Baker showing off the road, and Mitchell McLeod coming back to the racetrack. So, yeah, fair bit going on. Matilda's in action tonight, of course, against, that was what happened to Tony Baker, by the way, folks. Matilda's in action against Argentina in Canberra tonight. It's exclusive to Paramount Plus. We'll bring you a score update once we have it. Sam Muir's just coming to pit lane right now, so the defending champion is on pit road. We're riding with Martin Davis onto the back straight. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Can I just say, well done to the AFL. West Coast and Geelong scheduled last night, well attended at Optus Stadium in Perth. Just as they did with Q-Clash, taking advantage of the fact that there's a public holiday on the Monday in that part of the world. Q-Clash was played on the first Sunday night of May. There was a Monday public holiday here in Queensland. First Sunday night of June, going into the public holiday Monday in WA. They've done the same thing with that fixture. It was very smartly done by the WA government and the AFL to work together to collaborate that. So well done to them. And on the same token, you're getting ready for the Super Taxi round this weekend over there. Why didn't they cash in on that as well? Why didn't they take everything over there and try and capitalise on a public holiday opportunity? In that part of the world. Instead, they'll go there this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then, of course, they'll pack up and shoot through to Darwin shortly after that. But, of course, coming up this weekend is not the start of TCR Australia, replaced by Trans Am on the bill over there. TCR allegedly gets underway in 4 weeks' time in Goulburn. But mail passed my desk on Saturday night that would suggest that that's in doubt as well. The Goulburn event, which was part of the ill-fated Ailing Motorsport Australia Trophy Tour. Aidan Cale back in third place with Alex Court and Jordan Malcolm yet to stop. He's covered off Sam Muir and he's done so to the tune of 2.4 seconds. 10.62 and 10.43 seconds, the stops respectively. Cale in third has covered off Muir. And that's really all he has to worry about here. We've said that before, in the sense that the championship will be won by Cale or Muir most likely. Dyson's not on the grid. Cordy's a bit too far back. Cale only needs to worry about Sam Muir as far as I'm concerned. Adam Lavis, who had a 28-point advantage going into the round, and he might be on track to extend that tonight.
He looks like he's going to get an extra 6 points here so far, but obviously it also depends if Sam gets another 0x or not. It's looking in favour, because again, that point of the season where that's the positive part of when the drop rounds come into play is you can really see who you're battling and then focus your racing on that and make sure you beat the people you need to beat and minimise the damage when there is damage to be had. And also, just on your previous point about the racing on the weekend, you may need. I think we might have to look for a different nickname because it's a bit hard to call them taxis now, given they only have 2 doors.
Correct. Although, yeah, actually, that's fair. I'll pay that. Yes, and going on with their desire to be Australia's NASCAR, of course, with going to 3 manufacturers next year and introducing the playoffs and all that crap. And, of course, it didn't take long for the Australian media to jump on it and say, oh, should we have a different grand final venue each year as well? No. Not 2 hours after NASCAR made the same announcement, by the way. So, GT3 to follow from Monza, of course, the Temple of Speed. We're riding with Mitchell McLeod at the moment. He's in 8th, Jordan Malcolm in pit lane. So the field not yet cleansed. Davis Miller, 6th and 5th. And, of course, Malcolm and Court, 1st and 2nd, were the only ones yet to stop at the end of lap 15 or 14. Malcolm has stopped at the end of 15. Court has continued on. Court goes to turn 1 and continues on to lap number 16. And still just keeping an eye on Jordan Malcolm there. He's coming back out onto the racetrack now. So it's going to be touch and go for Malcolm.
He's miles ahead.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about that, Adam. I'm saying that he's only just started lap 16 now.
Oh, you're doing
and that threshold of whether it's 23 laps or whether it's 24, it's on Jordan Malcolm's accelerator. And we'll get a clear indication of that as we edge closer to the end of the 25th minute. That was a big moment for Mitchell McLeod. He's first of the night. Had a good run up until then. Still up 7 spots on where he started. Did well to keep it off the wall. Brian Levitt goes through. Joe Baldwin coming through now to end lap 15. He's in 10th. Martin Davis is 9th on pit road. Tony Baker still on pit road. He'll be our 4th retirement of the night at this point. Alex Court now coming in to pit lane at the end of the 21st minute, at the end of lap 16. Right, keep your eyes on Jordan Malcolm, folks. When he comes back to the line, Adam, I want to do a time check on that. He's coming round now. I think he's good. Because I'm going on 1.25 minutes, right? And he was there well before that 21:15 threshold. There's 21:15 now. 21:15, 22:30, 23:45, 25, 26:15, 27:30, 28:45, 30. I reckon with maybe it'll be a second either way. If he gets to the line by 29:59, you'll see the white flag will get 24 laps. But it's so neck and tight. It's so neck and crop. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, what Kurt was saying there earlier about the Speed Series, didn't see much of the GT4 or GT3 running, but have invested interest in Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge Australia. It's not Porsche Cup, of course. It's the feeder series. It's the sister, the undercard, essentially. It's Formula 2 to Formula 1, Super 2 to Supercars. And my mate Ryan Casher from Fernvale out here, 25 minutes from Ipswich, he was on track there and had a scintillating run. So well done to him. Moves himself up to 3rd in the championship, 2nd for the round. It was a great showing for the Queenslander on home turf, in front of a big crowd of family, friends, supporters, sponsors, etc. So well done to Ryan. And their next stop is Townsville, of course. I was a bit perplexed, as I said earlier, that I tuned into all of that Saturday race. And if you wanted something to read in terms of results, data, information, just a positional leaderboard or something of similar, you had to go to Natsoft because they weren't running the totem pole. It took them until Sunday to get that thing up and running. Not very good by Australian broadcast standards. And I know there were a few people critical of it over the weekend, but at least they got to air at the time they advertised. And at least there wasn't any dead air throughout it either. But that's another story. Jordan Malcolm, Aidan Cale, Sam Muir, Alex Court, David Baz, top 5, Mitchell McLeod, Brian Levitt, Joe Baldwin take us back to 8. Off goes Trucker. Off goes Martin Davis. Trucker's on the tow rope. This is how it happened for Trucker.
That was the last turn.
This was coming to the end of the lap.
His suspension, he's done it again. His suspension's gone again.
Oh, jeez. Poor old Trucker.
Oh,
wow. Martin Davis. The front end's just ripped off that car. Davis in the BMW gone. He'll be on the tow rope, limping to pit lane as well. Oh, smashed into the wall on the way through. No curb assistance required. Jesus. So Trucker and Martin Davis both on pit road. We're going to have 6 retirements here, folks. So really, it doesn't matter a rodents whether we get that extra lap in or not. 1:16.629 for Jordan Malcolm's fastest lap of the race. Going along gangbusters right now.
Oh, Mitch just got Baz. No, back again.
Mitch McLeod. David Baz down the inside. Thank you, 5th. 3 manufacturers in the top 5 now with Baz getting his way in. Joe Baldwin's got back out there, but he is a lap down. He knows the top 10's at stake. Got to be in it to win it, right? Look at this. McLeod hanging it out on the limit, on the ragged edge, trying to find a way by here. Baz is driving a nice race, keeping the BMWs up the pointy end. Is that a Bradbury-inspired livery that he's running there?
No, it's the Bilstein livery that Jimmy Broadbent's racing this season.
Copy. 4:46 to go. Apologies, folks. I missed seeing Jordan Malcolm come through there to do the calculations for you, but I don't think it really matters at this point whether it's 23 or 24. We called that from the outset that it would be one or the other, and that it would be touch and go as to whether we got the 24th or not. I would like to definitively be able to tell you one way or the other, but I'm not in a position to do that right now. Through they come. McLeod in 6th, chasing Baz in 5th. They're not under pressure from the car behind. Pretty sure that's Trucker a lap down. Three Astons out there tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Mercs started, of which there are only 5 left. 1 Porsche, 2 Bimmers. Very depleted field of GT4. I think we're almost at that point now, Adam, actually. When you look at the growth of GT4 universally in the real world, and we said the same thing about TCR, but iRacing did absolutely nothing about it. GT4 is the next one that needs a new manufacturer.
Yeah, they really should be, like the GT4 Mustang would really spice things up, I think. Probably get some interest back in there.
Absolutely. Not that we want to get greedy, of course. We love our GT4 racing, but and it's good that we got 5 manufacturers, because at one point we only had 2 when we first started, way back when. But yeah.
Oh, moves on.
I think the time has come. McLeod to the inside of Baz. Got him, job done. Job done. Left, right, Baz. Yep, gets him back on the inside. We'll set it up nicely for turn 1. David Baz going back to 5th on the inside at 1. McLeod hung out to dry. Scraped the wall on the way through. Didn't get the cleanest run off the final corner after it. Getting a overtaking manoeuvre in the first place. And now he bites the concrete hard. Got it all out of shape. Through turn 2. And that is that. How is that car still in one piece?
I don't think it's straight. I don't think he's going to try and suffer to the end, basically.
Jordan Malcolm leads it. 2:25 left on the clock. This is Sam Muir coming through to complete another lap. We need to keep an eye on Malcolm next time by the line, please, Adam, whether he gets the white flag or not. That was Mitch McLeod. That was a beautifully executed overtaking manoeuvre. Left, right, left, main straight. The up and under from Baz. And then this. Wall scrape 1. Tried to hang it tough. Caught the wall. See ya. Bang. That was a big hit. A huge hit. Rightio. The lead is 11 seconds. Jordan Malcolm's in a league of his own tonight. He's on the back straight on the run home. Let's pick him up if we can, Adam, because I'm wondering if he's going to see white this time or whether it's going to be 2 laps, and it's perilously tight on time. 23, 22. I reckon we see white. I reckon Barney's got the white in hand, ready to go. White flag, one more time around for Jordan Malcolm. Yep. Here we go. And it was 2 seconds either way. I reckon he's going to finish bang on 30 minutes. 23 laps. Had it been for other circumstances on any other day, we might have squeezed in the 24th, but we're not going to do it this time round. Martin Davis, unfortunately, biting the dust there.
So
one more time around. Sam, you're under pressure from Alex Court.
I think he's in another one that's came, but it's not showing up. So.
Copy. Zamora, Miller, Baldwin's a lap down. McLeod's parked up. Davis is parked up. Those guys have completed 75%, but the problem is they've exited the server. So they've done themselves a mischief there. Done themselves some injustice. Jordan Malcolm, however, what a night he's had here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. Pole position, fastest lap, has led from first to last, has not looked challenged here. Checkered flag flies. Job done, Jordan Malcolm. Thanks for coming. Malcolm wins it. for some unknown reason, my clock is ticking between 29:54 and 29:55. That's not right, but we were bang on the 30-minute marker. Second to Aiden Cale, third to Sam Muir, held off Alex Court. The championship fight continues, and it's in Aiden Cale's favour at the moment. Orbit Drop Bear looking for a lockout of Monday Night Motorsport across GT Pro and GT4, and they have done it beautifully here with Aiden Cale flying the flag in GT4. 11.81 the margin, Malcolm to Cale, but it was 5.3 then Cale back to Muir. Malcolm finished with the fastest lap of the race, 1:16.568, and it was clinical tonight from him. Never headed. Sensational stuff. Well done to David Baz as well in fifth, ahead of Brian Levitt. 4 manufacturers in the top 6. 5 Mercs, 3 Astons in the top 10, a BMW and a Porsche as well. What do we have in the end? Seven drivers, I think it was. Yep, finished on the lead lap. Miller, Baldwin, McLeod, all out of business. McLeod parked up early, so really, we've only had 9 classified finishes in this race, ladies and gentlemen. An attrition rate of 40%. Malcolm, Cale, Muir, Court, Baz, Levitt, Zamora, Miller, and Baldwin. Couldn't have asked for much more than that. Malcolm did everything he needed to do and could do after missing the last 3 weeks to put himself back in points contention for a podium finish at the very least in this series. No Andrew Dyson on the grid tonight does assist him in some way. No Jake Edwards either. So he'll at least move up 1 spot tonight. Alex Court will take advantage of the absence of Andrew Dyson. Aiden Cale and Sam Muir continue their duel at the front of the championship. Good racing. Aiden Cale's going to join us for a chat here. It'll be interesting to hear from him and what he's got to say. And hopefully Jordan Malcolm won't be too far away. Aiden, well done, mate. Second. I mean, to be fair, we know that there were a few of you not too happy with how the Mercs were handling around certain aspects, certain parts of this Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval racetrack, mate. But you pushed on, you grinned and bared it, you got through, you ticked the box, you beat Sam Muir, and really he's the main opponent that you got to worry about here with regards to the championship fight, mate. So you've ticked as many boxes as you could with second tonight. Of course, with one eye to wrapping this title up in a fortnight, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, I was one of those drivers that wasn't exactly too happy about about the Merc and how it was handling over the curbs, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You have those days, and you know, I think the Mercs have had a few too many good tracks this season. So yeah, I think it was time for some other cars to you know, kind of shine, and I mean, Jordan made the absolute most of it.
Absolutely, he did. He did a marvellous job. Although that being said, mate, as you know, the series isn't 1 over 1 race; it's 1 over 10. We knew that there would be some circuits that would suit the Aston more than the Merc. As you say, you've probably had the better end of the stick there. But that's what a championship's about, isn't it? It's not about any given week; it's about consistency. And continuing the podium run certainly ticks that box for you as well. Is it? I get that it must be a little bit frustrating though when you know that you genuinely don't have the car for the circuit to go one step better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's you know, it does suck knowing that you've kind of done it the rest of the season and been able to have the equipment under you, and you know, you kind of know what driver you are, but just can't kind of execute it. I mean, I was doing as well as I could have out there. I think I, you know, left everything on the table and, yeah, did as well as I could have. So, yeah, I mean, it was just props to Jordan and how quick he was today. Yeah, I mean, I beat Sam, so that's pretty much, you know, that was the box ticked. I didn't get that bonus point, or those bonus points for 0x, which is, you know, that's on me again. But so I think it was pretty even. He might have actually got more points than me today, but that's all right. There's still 2 rounds to go, and still got a bit of a comfy lead at the moment.
Indeed you do, mate. We're going to have those points updated very shortly. Care of Adam Lavis. In fact, he hasn't mucked around tonight as Adam. He's probably nearly got those done for us. Alex Court's here, Jordan Malcolm as well. I'll make this quick because obviously we've got GT3 standing by. Your guys right in the thick of an epic scrap in the championship at the moment there as well, mate. Knowing that the next two circuits, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park and Watkins Glen, last I looked, there aren't too many savage chicanes there that should, hurt the Merc too much. How are you feeling about those with a view to knowing what the equation is, knowing what the situation is, going out there, ticking the box, wrapping the title up?
It's going to be difficult. Motorsport, I'm a bit I don't mind it in the GT4, hate it in the supercar, Watkins is an all-round hate for me. So it's going to be a tough last two rounds, but it's just going to be a matter of damage limitation, I think. Damage
limitation so very important, especially at this point when it's in your grasp, you can see it, but you've just got to reach out and grab it. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you mentioned Canadian Tire Motorsport Park and Watkins Glen. I said on the call, mate, and I want your thoughts on this too, and the other guys feel free to weigh in when we have a chat to them in a moment. You look at what's left. Two tracks that are arguably more popular than some of the runs we've seen in the last few weeks. It's no secret that the turnout has been a little bit disappointing in Waste Options GT4 the last couple of weeks. Would you welcome a few more bums in seats for the last two rounds?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love these cars, and I really hope that more people kind of get around it. We've got a bunch of fast guys at the top, and we've seen the likes of Andrew Dyson and a few others like my teammate Aidan Luthwaite. So, it would be great to see a bit more some fast guys. But I mean, even the guys with less experience. I mean, there's everything. Well, there's stuff for everyone here in GT4. So, it'd be great to see it carry on for another season because I've absolutely loved this season.
Absolutely, and why wouldn't you be loving it, given where things sit as far as the championship's concerned, mate? I mean, the last few weeks, since the DNF at Coda, it's been first, second. You're on a real podium run at the moment. And I mean, the other three results were second in round one, fourth in round two, first in round three. So again, consistency wins championships. You've been right there in the thick of it. As you say, not necessarily the track for the car tonight, but certainly the driver was on song, making the most of the situation at hand and compromising, I guess you could say, to get yourself through. So well done on that. And what's next for you as far as the rest of this week is concerned, please?
Going to do some GT4 on Wednesday in an American league, and also just going to be doing some officials in GT4, I reckon. I'm pretty keen on mid-hire in terms of just the track, so you'll probably see me this weekend doing some Michelin Pilot Challenge races.
Oh, very exciting. Here we go. Keep an eye out for that too, by the way, folks, with Aidan Kale. And do share some links with us so that we can pass that on to everybody, please, mate. Now, there you are. There's the championship, 29 points to Sam Muir, so you've only marginally extended that tonight. 281 for Andrew Dyson, 257 for Jordan Malcolm. Vaults up the order past Alex Court, past Jake Edwards. Court's obviously got past Edwards as well, 257, 255. Oh, it's on between you two blokes for fourth, isn't it? And that's irrespective of whether Andrew Dyson rocks up for the next 2 weeks or not. And if he doesn't, it becomes the battle for third, doesn't it? So exciting times there. Aidan, well done again, mate. Congratulations. Good luck with Porsche Michelin co-pilot, as you say. But I was going to say, as a GT4 racer and as a supercars racer and as all the other things that you jump behind the wheel of, I don't think I've had a chance to ask you yet. Are you excited for the Bend when it drops on the server in a couple of weeks' time?
Well, I'm a local Adelaidean, so it's a bit of a dry kind of state, I'd say, in terms of events, unless it is motorsport. So I'm kind of set with that. And yes, absolutely, I'm going to be calling in sick that week.
I thought you might be. I thought you might be. It's good. Thanks for verifying what I always thought too, by the way, about it being a bit of a quiet sort of part of the world. Although it's a bit rowdier these days because our own Sam Chapman now calls it home again as well. So I'm sure you'll catch up with him in passing at some point. Go well, mate. Good luck for what's left of this week. We look forward to seeing you when we get to Motorsport.
Awesome. Thanks, Zach. Thanks, boys. See you later.
Difficult in that situation, isn't it? When you know you haven't got the car to win the contest, but you've just got to grit and bear it and push through and soldier on, thinking bigger picture. And as I said, it was a bit of a compromise sort of set up there for Aidan Carl tonight, knowing that he was getting the absolute best out of the situation that he could without getting the job done. The job was done emphatically by Jordan Malcolm, who joins us now. Mate, good evening. Well done. 11.81. It's been a while since you've had a win that comfortable in GT4.
I think it might even be the first time ever I've had a win over 10 seconds in GT4 that isn't an official race. So first win, 10-second win in GT4 GSRC, I'll definitely take it.
Absolutely, mate. And this is the thing, right? We know that you guys have had, by your own standards, probably a tougher season than usual. That was your first appearance in 3 weeks. Great way to bounce back, obviously. Great result. Well done. But nice to get one over the Mercs, even though there was a bit of whinging attached to it from the Mercs, let's be honest, with regards to that ripple strip on the back straight there. But you got to make every box a winner when the opportunity is presented to you, mate. They've had the better car at most of the circuits, or the circuit has suited their car better than it suited yours, per se. Sorry, poor choice of words on my part, because there's nothing wrong with the driving ability of you and Sam, but the problem is you've only been getting the best out of your car that you've been allowed to. Tonight, you had the best car for the circuit, and you took full advantage of that, and Sam's come through at the podium as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the car suited the circuit. The Aston has traditionally been very terrible over curbs. You just look at Sandown or something, and Trent traditionally in the past has always hated going to Sandown in the Aston just because of the curbs around there. But for me, this was a track I really liked. I liked it a little bit less once I found out what chicane was at the back, but that was the only part of the track that I needed to practice for the week, because I was pretty comfortable. It's just, I don't know, it's one of those tracks where you just naturally click with it. So happy to get the full points I could, and have a good race tonight.
Indeed. And I guess with a view to the championship fight now, I mean, you needed that. We hadn't seen you, the last 2 weeks, I should say, not 3. So it has been 3 weeks since we saw you, which was Algarve. But to bounce back, to tick that box, it puts you back firmly in contention for third in the championship. Still a little way to go to Andrew Dyson, but thankfully 2 big weeks to go in which you can try and reel in that deficit.
Yeah, 2 more tracks that I've don't have to put heaps of laps into practice. I've done plenty of laps around these 2 tracks before, so hopefully we get some bigger field numbers, and should be some good racing in the next couple of weeks.
Indeed. Now, with regards to the Charlotte Roval, it is. You mentioned earlier that it hasn't always been nice for the Aston, but as Jordan Malcolm, the driver, is it a circuit that you like, or is it kind of one of those meh, get through it, tick the box, move on?
When I look at the track, I go meh, but Jordan Malcolm, the driver, is fast around that track, so he won't complain to hop in and have a race there. So I'll go meh, but I'm always excited because I know I'll typically be there or thereabouts. Depends on the car again, but there or thereabouts, we should be there.
And it's bloody hard because you might not always like it, but if the results vouch that you should like it, then you're going to make the most of it, aren't you? The opportunity when it's presented to you. What do you make of the absence of so many on the grid at the moment, mate? GT4 is going through a little bit of a steady decline at the moment. Would you like to see a few more opponents out there for the last 2 rounds? And on that notion, what are your thoughts on Canadian Tire Motorsport Park before I let you go?
I reckon when the calendar first dropped, it was a bunch, like, apart from the last 2 weeks, last 3 weeks actually, including this one, these were my 3 favourite on the calendar. I think the calendar as a whole is not particularly liked by the majority of the iRacing community, so it's pretty hard to get bums on seats when you go into places like Coda, like Not Hill, that can cause a little bit of chaos. So I think depleted numbers in that sense, but not once we get back to Motorsport and Watkins Glen, hopefully the field size should come back.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Now, what's next for you as far as racing's concerned? I know you've been busy the last couple of weeks. Do we get a chance to go racing on the sim again between now and next Monday?
Very unlikely. I'm off to Perth, so
Yes.
we'll go work at Perth, and it'll just be a whatever laps I can do Monday job.
So, are you on the red eye on Sunday night?
Yeah, definitely will be.
Rather you than me, son. Enjoy that. Actually, can you just have a word in their ear when you go over there too, by the way, and maybe ask them to better align it so that Western Australia can maximise a long weekend. They did it beautifully with the AFL over the weekend, just gone, played the game last night. WAFL was on free-to-air television today, being a public holiday over there. I reckon Supercars missed an opportunity by not going racing in Perth on what is a long weekend for the jurisdiction.
Yeah, I can try and say something, but I don't think my word's going to mean much in the end. So we'll leave that for the Western Australians to deal with.
And enjoy Trans Am as well, because they're on the support bill this weekend. I'm not sure what else is running, but I'm excited to see how the TA2s go. Jordan, enjoy the trip across the Nullarbor, mate. I'm sure you'll probably catch up with a couple of GSRC alumni while you're over there. And we'll see you on Monday night next week.
Awesome, thank you.
And of course, it is a long weekend, public holiday Monday in progressive and civilised parts of the country, not Queensland and WA. So take full advantage of those laps you get on Monday afternoon, mate, after a well-deserved sleep, of course. There he is, the 1-9 race winner, I should say, Jordan Malcolm for the 1-9 stable in the Aston Martin. They were 1 and 3 tonight. Sam Muir, of course, the defending champion, in third, but Aidan Carl's got one hand on the championship. A bloke that's in the fight for, well, third, potentially fourth here, is Alex Court, and he's got a 2-point deficit to Jordan Malcolm for fourth at the moment on the back of that result tonight. Cordy, good evening. Well done. Another top 5 finish for you. 4th place in the end. Just couldn't get by Sam Muir. You pushed him every step of the way, but again, the Aston, probably the better car around here, given what Aidan Carl was saying about the Merc. Talk us through the race from your perspective and how much you're looking forward to the next 2 weeks, mate, and that fight for third now with Andrew Dyson only 26 points up the road and Jordan Malcolm just in front of you.
Yeah, evening, Zach and everyone else. Yeah, look, the race went perfect. Like, couldn't have asked for a better strategy. Had a good crew chief in Mir, and he made the call to run long, and yeah, couldn't. The only thing I could have asked for was a clean race, and
yeah.
Unfortunately, around here it's a little bit tricky, but we were close. I think I only picked up 3 incidents, so overall, yeah, look, really happy. And the next 2 weeks, you know, same old me. I'll be there to pick up the pieces and do the best I can and just have fun.
Indeed. What were your thoughts on the Merc around here tonight? I mean, there were a few that bit the concrete and bit it hard. You managed to avoid incident and stay out of trouble. What was the trick, the challenge in doing that?
Look, I'm pretty biased to the Merc, and look, I just love the Merc. So, yeah, we worked on a set throughout the week, and yeah, look, it felt good. It was a little bit pushy mid-corner, but over the bumps and stuff, it was nice if you hit them well, and yeah, that's all I can say really.
Indeed. Now, I guess the other question is, with regards to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park and Watkins Glen, which of those tracks is your strongest? And how are you planning to approach them, knowing that, there's a 3 manufacturer fight, a 3 team fight for that final spot on the podium? Can you sneak up and put one on these 2 blokes, Jordan Malcolm and Andrew Dyson, and grab another championship podium result, mate?
Look, that's the plan for sure. I've missed out narrowly the last couple of seasons, but looking at it, I would probably be leaning towards Watkins Glen. It's more a track to my driving style. I do like Canadian Tire as well, though, but definitely out of the 2, more looking forward to Watkins Glen.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Matilda's 2 leading Argentina 1 at halftime in Canberra. We've got Alex Court here with us. What's next on your iRacing schedule, please, buddy?
It'll just be GT4 practice throughout the week. Possibly some officials, but not too sure.
All right, very nicely done. And well done tonight. Great result, but we're not surprised because you have been very consistent in the GT4 series throughout the course of the season. I'm looking at the results here, Cordy. 11th, 3rd, 8th, 11th, 7th, 4th, 4th. And again, it yields 5th in the championship, but only by 2 points. So everything to play for with a couple of weeks to go. And of course, that last round at Watkins Glen will be a 45-minute affair, one that we're very much looking forward to on the short shoot there, of course, which is normally home to NASCAR Cup racing. So looking forward to that. Well done, buddy. Great result. As we said, not necessarily the best result, not necessarily the best track for the Merc tonight, but you yielded as good a result out of it as you possibly could. So for that, well done, and we'll see you next week.
Too easy, boys. Thanks very much. We'll catch you next week. Enjoy GT3s.
Indeed we will. The Temple of Speed awaits for GT3 on the other side, folks. There he is, Alex Court. Monday Night Motorsport, platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, Waste Options GT Night, Night 1, Week 8, Term 2, 2025, and the 3rd last week of proceedings here. Everything to play for, titles firmly on the line and there for the taking it up for grabs. It is a great time to be in the commentary box. It's a stressful time for the competitors within the club that are definitely in championship contention, though. We've got Pro-Am and Pro Racing coming your way tonight. The results from the Am Split as well. Am Split, of course, we've had their last broadcast race for the season. That was last week. This will be the last time we bring you Pro-Am this season. The last 3 championship races, the feature tonight from Monza, plus the 60 minutes next week at Spa and the 90 minutes the week after from the Nordschleife, will be all pro competition for you, as Harrison Lillis is on the cusp of creating a little bit of GSRC history, winning his first GSRC GT3 championship and ending the 13 championship winning streak, the reign of the Denchmark, Matty Dench. So with that in mind, we take this opportunity to grab a break. GT4 continues next week from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Aidan Cale, the championship leader here. 366 plays, Sam Muir 337, Andrew Dyson 281, 257 for Jordan Malcolm and 255 for Alex Court. Put a line through everybody else. They're the 5 we're watching with 2 weeks to go. We do it with thanks to the great people at Waste Options, Sprite and Cider, and also, of course, Trophy AI, Orbic Australia, Bowen's The Builder's Choice, merch.tgsrci.com, and Flash Graphics. Adam Lavis and I are back with you on the other side. The Pro-Am sprint race from Monza, and then the Pro feature from the Temple of Speed. We go Italian for the 2nd week in a row for Waste Options GT3 in just a few moments. Hope you're enjoying it. The 3rd last edition of Monday Night Motorsport for the opening half of the year. Season 21, Term 2, 2025. Our first night of broadcast for winter in the month of June. Stay with us. The entree's done, the main course still to come. From the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval, we continue Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club right now by heading from North America and the United States, more specifically to Europe and Italy, to the Temple of Speed, the home of the Tifosi. We're talking about the Monza circuit in Italy, the first of 3 European rounds to see out the season in 3 different formats for Waste Options GT3. This is the 4th and final sprint round. Next week, it'll be the 4th and final 60-minute race. And then in week 10, we go for 90 minutes around the Green Hell. Pictures coming in now as qualifying is about to wrap up here. Fine and sunny conditions, as you can see on screen, as we get ready to bring you all the action of Waste Options GT3 Pro-Am first up for the sprint. And then, of course, the feature will bring the Pro Split, the Pro Server, back to broadcast for the first time in a couple of weeks. There's the circuit for you. It's 5 3/4 kilometres. The track temp is 39 degrees, the ambient 26. June 1, 2025. Middle of summer in Europe, of course. 11 a.m. local server time, 4 km/h winds in a southeasterly direction. 36% humidity, but clear skies and cloud-free dry conditions. Right. Connor Nixon. I'll get back to your comment in a moment, mate. I couldn't see it through everything else that we were reading there. Adam Chiplin's leading the point standings here at the moment. 21 clear of Craig Bond. Dave Oliver in 3rd place, just 1 behind Bondy, and then 20 back to Nathan Michael. Porsche 1-2, Acura 3-4, then 4 McLarens in the next 6 positions, including Paul Wood, Sean Benici, Stephen Gallagher, and Gavin Simpson. Wood on 219. He's got Will Buchanan hunting him down to 12. 190 for Sean Benici, 185 for Stephen Gallagher, 175 for Neil DeBraun, and 166 for Gavin Simpson. Grid tonight sees Will Buchanan on pole. James Parker alongside him, 0.087 the margin. First to second pole position there. Very good stuff. 1:48.095 the time to beat. Adam Chiplin second row alongside Dave Oliver, Mitchell McLeod, Barry Anastasios, Andrew Neal, Art Baz, Sean Benici, Dale Sharp, Luke King, Nathan Michael, Jason Wilkinson, and also Stephen Gallagher make up the first 7 rows of the grid. Scott Wood and Warren Ibert, and then Todd Suter and Paul Wood, the top 9 rows. 10th row, Greg Heaney, Kurt Nommenson. 11th row, Lachlan Potter, William Yarwood. 12th row, Neil DeBraun, Eduardo Zamora, Chris Thompson, Lachlan Marr, Martin Davis, Michael Shepherd, and then Joshua Horton. And look who's 30th. I did not set a time. C. Bond. Long night ahead for one of our championship contenders. And when you look at Bondy's form in this series, he needs to maximise his points haul tonight because he's already got 2 pretty low-scoring rounds that he doesn't want to have to lean back on. They being Road America, where he only scored 8 points, and also Sebring, where he only pocketed 18. He would need an absolute perler, a dream run tonight to work his way through the field to put himself back in contention. It'd be a hell of a run if he can get 20 positions in the first sprint race here over 21 minutes, folks. If he can do that, he puts himself in the box seat for the invert pole, and then all of a sudden from there, the world's his oyster because he'll start on the pole position for the invert. I don't think he's going to have it as straightforward as that. Mercedes, Porsche, McLaren, Acura, all in the top 10. The first of the Fords is in 12th. So what does that give us? That's Mercedes, Porsche, Acura, McLaren, Ford. That's 5. Audi, Kurt Nommenson, BMW, William Yarwood, Lachlan Potter in the Ferrari, 6, 7, 8. 8 different manufacturers out there. No Lambos, no Corvettes. 8 different manufacturers in this field. Will Buchanan and James Parker, the front row. Championship lead belongs to Adam Chiplin. It is 21 points the advantage. 280 plays 259. Chiplin, of course, starting alongside Dave Oliver, second row of the grid. We're ready to fire at the Temple of Speed. Breaking the toe here is going to be difficult, but the trip-up points are the first 2 chicanes. So if we can get through them cleanly, the gloves will be off. Racing now. Round 8 of the championship. Race 11 of 14. Let's go at Monza. Clean start. 2 by 2. The drag race to turn 1. And Will Buchanan's won the jump. Got the whole shot ahead of Parker. Chiplin, Oliver, McLeod, Baz, Anastakis, Neal. Neil and Sharp swapping around, arguing over the same piece of real estate. Everybody very courteous going through the first corner. Bondi's already up 2 spots at the expense of Jason Wilkinson, who started back of grid. He's actually joined from the pit lane, and Josh Horton hasn't started at all. Now the braking duel. On the run to the second chicane. Cleanly, oh, trouble. Luke King, sorry, yes, both of them. The Whiskey Business stable in trouble. Stephen Gallacher, Sean Benici, everybody plummeting down the order. Bad start for the Whiskey Business stable. Luke King, Sean Benici rejoined 27-28, Bonding's up to 22nd already. So there you go, 8 spots already on the opening lap. The other 10 you'll have to work a lot harder for. He is our championship second place man at the moment, 1 point on Dave Oliver. Again, Oliver and Chiplin stand to gain here, as does Will Buchanan in 6th place. Paul Wood in 5th. He doesn't have to worry about them as much as he does Dave Oliver. Oh, trouble. Trouble. Car in the wall. Back straight. Not sure who it was. Warren Ivertson on the tow road. He's on pit road. Jason Wilkinson rejoins. Curtin Normanson has dropped down the order. It might have been him. And if not, Stephen Gallacher. They've all lost on the opening lap. Bondi's up to 19th. He's on a charge. He's got a point to prove tonight as the youngster from Gundagai. Will Buchanan, James Parker, Adam Chiplin, 1, 2, 3 to the first corner at the end of the opening lap. 2 minutes gone. It's a 12-lap sprint here. 1:47 the standing time for Will Buchanan. Look at Parker under pressure. Chiplin's there with McLeod and Oliver and Bads and Anastakis, Sharp, Neal and Wood. The top 10. Yeah, Chiplin 21 points. 1 point Bond to Oliver. That's what you got to watch. And then the 20 points back to Nathan Michael. Well, Michael's been taken out of the equation. He's dropped down to 13th after taking evasive action on that opening lap. 8 positions gained for Paul Wood, 10 for Eduardo Zamora, and 11 for Craig Bond, the biggest movers so far. Lachlan Marr up 6 spots as well. There's a new name to us as well. 510 members currently. The platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, ladies and gentlemen. That is an extraordinary number. The club continuing to go from strength to strength to strength with numbers. Membership in near record territory. We haven't seen numbers of that height since mid to late 2021, I want to say. It is an extraordinarily strong position that the club finds itself in at the moment, with people wanting to join, wanting to get in the fun and be part of the action. Except in GT4, it would seem. Buchanan, Parker, Chiplin, then McLeod, then Oliver, then Baz, then Anastakis and Sharp, then Neal and Wood in 10th place. Right here, Suter, Wooden, Michael, Zamora, Yarwood, Heaney, Potter and DeBrew in the top 18. And Bond still finds himself in 19th at the moment, chasing in DeBrew. And here comes Dave Oliver. Will we have a look currently inside of McLeod to turn 1? We'll wait and see. McLeod, of course, disappointed with how it finished at Charlotte in the GT4. Oh, jeez. Parker, Chiplin gathers it up. Buchanan's the leader. They've all latched on. It's a freight train. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're riding on board with the 5th place Oliver now. I'm surprised at how clean a start that was, Adam.
Up the front, yeah, there was a bit of shenanigans in the back, but the front of the field did very well. Interesting to see how it is in the pro split. Chances are they'll have all their crashes in this race, because every time we go to Monza and do one of the other splits, the GT3 boys have a bit of a field day with damage. So we'll have to see how many survive into the second race when we go across later.
Indeed. Oh, no. Chapo, by the way, has just sent me a message with regards to the pro split tonight. He's got some issues going on with his screen at home at the moment, but he's pushing through as best he can. He said, if I randomly crash at some point tonight, I blame View Sonic. A memo from Chapo. More on that when we get to the GT3 Pro broadcast for the feature. Straight across the Ascari goes Dave Oliver. Whoa, did well to gather it up, but will drop some spots with a slowdown. Oliver's going to drop down behind Harry Anastakis. Behind, I would say, Dale Sharp as well, and probably Andrew Neal. No, he's going to slot in front. He's going to keep the boys at bay. Sharpie's wide, Neil's up, he's inside and feeding him some door. This is good. Fast, hard competition. Really good stuff. Down the main straight, 2x2. Bond hasn't managed to get any further than 19th yet either. Sharp's down the inside. Oliver down, he's inside. Oh, contact! Sharp and Oliver are gone! Down at turn 1. Sharp and Oliver come together. Chiplin the beneficiary of that. So too Baz and Neil. Oliver and Sharp bite the dust. They keep going, but what the hell was that? We'll have another look at it. Sharpie's in a little bit of trouble, observing the slowdown there. Paul Wood coming through. Right on his tail in 10th. You just need a couple more incidents like that to spice it up. Sharp down the inside, Wood up the outside, Wood gets by. This is how it happened. Sharpie just missed the braking marker, missed it entirely. He's pole waxed Dave Oliver. The redress, I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, there is no redress because Dave Oliver is down the order at the moment off the track again, 3.5 laps into the race. And Oliver is limping
Baz
back
was so
to the
lucky.
lane. Yeah. So Dave Oliver is out of business as far as this race is concerned. That's a huge blow to him, and it has championship implications. Not just with regards to what we were saying earlier with Bondi, but also with regards to trying to catch Adam Chiplin and keep Nathan Michael at bay. So Dave Oliver, unfortunately, trouble again! Trouble again! This time Sharp gets fed some AstroTurf, that time by Nathan Michael. Another championship contender in the wars. That's 3 of them now. What the bloody hell is going on at Monza tonight? Lap 5 of 12, action aplenty. Bondi to pit lane. That wasn't in the script either.
It's a bit early.
So Bond's on pit road.
Watch it early. It's a race early.
It's early. It's a sprint race.
It's a whole race
What
early.
the hell is he doing?
Unless he's put the quality fuel in, not a set lap.
Anastakis and Oliver are on pit road as well. Oliver's understandable. What the hell is Parry doing on pit lane?
He got clipped as well.
Something happened.
He got clipped by Oliver as Oliver spun.
Righto. Yeah, that makes a bit more sense there. And Bondi's out, 4.12 he was stationary for, so that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he's had the quality fuel in the car.
But yeah, rookie error. And unfortunately, for all of those blokes that I've just mentioned, for Bond, for Michael, for Oliver, it just falls into the lap of Adam Chiplin. Let's have a look at this. Luke King, this was the start of the garbage lap 1. Kingy got turned because he got checked up and he pulled up and it gave nobody behind him anywhere to go. That one, not his fault. Innocent bystander. This was King again. Oh, well, the garbage started ahead of them.
It was 2 WBR cars. It's all 3 WBR cars.
Risky business. Having a night to forget, you would argue. Greg Heaney's up 6 spots into 13th. That's about the only thing they're crowing about at the moment. William Yarwood is in the invert pole position right now. William Yarwood is 10. That was Warren Ivan. That's why he ended up on the tow road. So he's been to pit lane for 2 minutes 12. Dave Oliver's been in. Parry Anastakis, Craig Bond, Stephen Gallacher, they've all been in. This is live. That is James Parker losing out to Mitchell McLeod on the run through turn 1. McLeod goes to 2nd. You got Mercedes, you got McLaren, you got Porsche 1, 2, 3. The first of the Acuras is Art Baz in 5th. And the first of the BMWs. You've got 5 manufacturers in the 10, folks. It's William Yarwood in 10th. He's up 12. Eduardo Zamora's up 15. Paul Wood's up 11. All in contention to be the biggest move of the race. It's in Zamora's lap at the moment. Something in the water tonight. Something in the water this year, quite frankly. I'm just gonna say this now. I'm just gonna say this now, right? Aside from what you've already seen, and I mean, take this however which way you please, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the totem pole left-hand side of screen. Look at the track map right-hand side of screen. Look down the bottom right side of the screen as well, where that battle pack data is there sitting waiting for you to read and analyse, right? No chance of developing any bibliophobia here. There's plenty to read. There's plenty to sink your teeth into. And there's plenty to analyse in all the racing action and accidents and incidents that we've seen already. Oh boy. And trouble up the back as well. Good evening to Sam Stride, by the way. Challenge accepted and conquered. 5-second penalty for Nathan Michael. Car 161. Rear contact on Dale Sharp lap 4. Again, championship combatants. Championship combatants. Falling, tripping over themselves, left, right and centre. What the hell have we witnessed here so far? Kurt Nommensen down in 21st, Luke King 22nd, Lachlan Potter 23rd, Sean Benucci 24th, Stevie Gallagher 25th. They've all tripped up at some point, or been tripped up at some point. The story is Craig Bond, Dave Oliver. The fact that those guys are 26th and 28th, and it's a long road back from there for the pair of them in the feature. And they were fighting for second in the fight in the title race coming into this round. It's fallen into the lap of Adam Chiplin to put one hand on the championship tonight, and he's staying out of trouble at the moment in 4th. Thompson in 18th, trying to get down on the inside of Lachlan. Ma, thank you for coming. Ma hangs tough and gets fed wide. That opens the door. Through went Martin Davis. And through, well, Michael Shepard was trying to go through. The door got closed on him. Nommensen's at the back of the battle pack. Actually, can we just have a look at the car? It's there with Nommensen, Michael Shepard. What a nice looking livery that is. What a nice looking little kit that is. That might be my favourite livery of the season right now. The yellow, the black, oh, that's brilliant. It screams Flash Graphics without the Flash Graphics logo. Down the inside. Move there. Davis gets through on Thompson. Porsche on Porsche. There are 4 Porsches and an Audi in that battle pack at the moment, and the Mustang at the back is Luke King for Whiskey Business Racing. Porsche heading bottom half of the top 20. Biggest mover so far, still Eduardo Zamora up 15, and William Yarwood is up plus 12. The karting stalwart, the legend, the champion. He's sitting there plus 12 with a chance of taking the invert pole, but that is my vote for livery of the night. Look at that. How good. Black Swan Racing. Well done, boys. Caught my attention. Just the right colour of yellow and just the right amount of it as far as I'm concerned. Down the inside. Martin Davis under pressure there from Lachlan Mara. Mar gets through. Davis is gone. Davis is in the AstroTurf in the runoff area at the second chicane. Davis rejoins, but he's now outside the top 20. He's fallen behind Sean Benucci. He's 24th. Wowee. I tell you what, the Pro Feature's got a lot to live up to. Oh, geez, that's, yeah, there's a case to be answered there for, I'm sorry. If you're Lachlan Mara. Race Control will be having a look at one as we speak. Race Control's been kept fairly busy tonight, folks, as you can appreciate. Rachel McLeod's 1.4 seconds behind the race leader, Will Buchanan. Will's led from start to finish so far. 8 laps gone, 4 to go. Lap 9 underway. He's on track now to win this race and win it well. Mitchell McLeod, James Parker, Adam Chiplin, and Art Baz and Andrew Neal. It's a 5-way fight for second. There they are. End of the main straight, down the inside. McLeod under pressure from Parker. Parker around the outside. Ran it wide. Compromised on the exit. Chiplin's going to go by and he's outside. They're going to go drag racing side by side. The 2 Porsches. The battle of the third. Who's going to benefit from the toe from McLeod? It'll be Parker. Chiplin on the inside running when they get up to the chicane. Hard on the brakes. Chiplin going for third. Chiplin going to third. and getting it done. The championship leader finds his way onto the podium in race 1 of round 8. Waste Options GT3 Pro-Am, what a classic they're dishing up at Monza. They're all hanging it out into the weeds on the exit of the right-hander. Parker, Baz, Neil and Wood are the ones outside the top 3 at the moment, looking for their way back in. Paul Wood 6.5 down the road and Todd Suter 2.5 behind him. Woodsy's on track for plus 11 and 7th and under no pressure to lose or gain on that at the moment. Suter, Zamora and Yarwood 8th, 9th and 10th. Oh, trouble. So Shepherd's run into trouble. And he's run into trouble with Lachlan Potter. Bond's still 2.2 seconds down the road on those blokes. Shepherd was trying to go around the outside. Sorry, mate, that was never going to work. There are some parts of the racetrack that you can get away with an overtake on the outside. That is not one of them. Not in GT3. And they just perfectly illustrated why. Eduardo Zamora to 8th, getting by Todd Suter. Suter right on his bumper at the moment. Making a run down to turn 1, but Zamora's got 8th and he's plus 16. What a charge from Eduardo. 3 laps to go. Whoa, Suter gives him a touch on the exit of turn 2. 3. Now the right-hander at 4. Let's go. Good race this one so far. Down the inside, Nominson under pressure here. Oh! He's been relegated to 19th. Luke King around the outside at 1. Very nicely done. Wilkinson from a pit lane start has worked his way up to 15th. He was originally due to start 13th. Of those that have stopped, Stephen Gallacher up to 21st, Craig Bond to 24th. Harry Anastakis, 27th, Dave Oliver, 28th, and Warren Ibe at 29th. Good thing, Adam Lavis, no one's tipped out the bathwater yet. No one's spat the dummy and parked up. They know that there's still a second chance coming up in the form of the feature race as we head towards 2 laps to go.
It's the thing with the sprint race, even if the first race goes bad, although your starting position's compromised, you've still got a chance to walk away from the night with your head held high if you can have a good second race. So it's always worth sticking around and trying to make the best of a bad situation.
Indeed it is. Down the main straight we go. Art Baz 5th at the moment. Chasing James Parker. He's the best place to cure on the racetrack is Baz. He's got Andrew Neil for company. 3 Porsches. 2 Acuras, 2 Mercs, 2 McLarens and a BMW in the top 10 at the moment. So Mercedes, McLaren, Porsche, Acura, 4 manufacturers in the top 5. Porsche the only duplicate. And 1 BMW in the top 10, and it's about to lead the field to green for the second race. If William Yarwood can get through the next 2 laps cleanly. Wowee. Wowee. This is the first chance I've really had to draw breath in this entire race. My goodness, it's been full on from first until last. That's 2 laps to go. Buchanan, McLeod, Chiplin, Parker, Baz and Neil. McLeod skipped clear. Chiplin's holding on to 3rd. He's got to fend off Parker, Baz and Neil for another lap and a quarter. To the Ascari they go. Now down towards the Parabolica. White flag in the air for Will Buchanan this time by. We're about to hit the 20-minute marker of this race. Hey, Bondi down the inside for 23rd. Thanks for coming. Matters very little at the moment, but every point counts when you're that far down the order. Michael Shepard, 24th, remembering that Parry Anastakis and Dave Oliver aren't going to score points. They're 27th to 28th, they're not going to score points. Bondi goes through to 23rd. Precious championship points right there. Buchanan, McLeod, Chiplin, Parker, Baz, Neil, Wood, Suter, the top 8. William Yarwood, Eduardo Zamora, Dale Sharp, and then Nathan Michael make up the top 12 in what has been a championship-defining race for some of our contenders. Chiplin doing his best. He's wide on the exit, but he's going to be okay. He's going to get away with it through turn 2. He's under pressure from Parker. Parker trying to go around the outside to try and get back to third. Then, of course, you got Baz there hovering. And Andrew Neil looming large. Final lap. 20 seconds from time. So the GSRC wins in this instance. We go beyond that 21-minute threshold. We go into overtime. I like it. I'm all for it. And it'll be about nearly a minute into overtime as well by the time we get through the lap. McLeod bolted off the road momentarily, kicked up a bit of grass on the exit of the right-hander. Now, the back straight, a run down to the Ascari. No further action for Lachlan Potter. Contact with Neil DeBroad on lap 4. No further action. The instruction from race control. Down we go. Final lap. Buchanan, McLeod, then Chiplin, Parker, Baz. But Will Buchanan's put in a faultless drive from first until last here at the front of the field. The AITT Revolution E-Racing entry is going to chalk up a race win here. And a vitally important one with a view to championship aspirations. This could well put him in the top 5 in the points race with 3 races to go. And what's more, it's going to be his first win of the championship campaign as well. Buchanan gets the job done. Race 1, round 8, Monza in Italy. Mercedes on top. McLeod in for second. Redeems himself after the disappointment of GT4. Have a look at this further down the order, would you? The fight is on for positions in and out of the top 20. Chiplin, Parker, Baz, Neil, Wood, Suter, Yarwood and Zamora. So something happened to Eduardo on the final lap. He's come home in 10th, but Will Yarwood goes 9th as a result of that. Now here's a move down the inside. Normanson under pressure. On the roll, contact and gone. That's going to be King going around into the wall. He was out of real estate. He was in no man's land. Now he's in the middle of the road and being collected by Bondi. Oh, it's all going off on the final lap. What the bloody hell's going on at Monza in GT3? Bondi comes through for 21st. He'll be kicking himself. There's no doubt about that. He should never have been down in that position, having to pit off qualifying fuel in a sprint race. That is just an amateur hour, rookie error moment for him. Andrew Hayes, no further action for the contact on Chris Thompson on lap 8 as well. What the hell? Warren Ibert got out there, finishes well down the order, nearly a lap in the end. Dave Oliver will be the last of the... actually, no. Dave Oliver's got home. Warren Ibert is actually going to get home and be classified. Somehow he managed to not go a lap down and all of that. He was very close. But Will Buchanan got the job done. Mitch McLeod, Chiplin, Parker, Baz, Neil, Wood, Suter, Yarwood, some more of the top 10. Not sure what happened to Eduardo on the final lap because he's dropped down the order. He was up 16. He's now only plus 14. So we lost out to Suter and Yarwood on the run to the checkered flag. Dale Sharp's come home in 11th after his earlier incident. Nathan Michael recovered for 12th. Greg Heaney, Neil DeBraun, Jason Wilkinson, Scott Wooden. And I've run out of time there because the loop has ticked over. 17th for Benici. Thank you, Adam Lavis. Wooden, 16th. Benici, 17th. Nommensen, Gallacher and Davis. Over the page. Bondi got back for 21st. 22nd was Potter. Then Shepherd caught up in that incident late. Then Thompson and Astakis, the last of the point scorers. Ma, Oliver and King has been hit with a post-race penalty by the looks of that. So that incident coming into the main straight would have been the icing on the cake, the straw that broke the camel's back. He's gone past the threshold. He got collected on the way through and has been invoiced at the line to the tune of, I'd say, 35 seconds or so. Oh, boy. Excellent stuff. Now, just while I think of it too, folks, I'm going to have Bondi in here a little bit later on to have a chat, but he is doing a fundraiser at the moment for the Bowel Cancer Australia network, raising awareness there. So, and Scott Jordison was the one that gave us the heads up on that. So Bondi will be in here to have a chat about that a little bit later on, and we appreciate that. And we'll get some links and some information up on your screen so that you know more about that and what's going on, bowelcanceraustralia.org. Bondi's doing some fundraising there. He'll tell us why a little bit later on. Race 1 done. Round 8, Waste Options, GT3. Pro-Am done as far as broadcast is concerned for the season. We'll bring you their results from the feature a little bit later on. We'll bring you the results from the AM Split as well. But next, we're turning our attention to GT3 Pro. And it's the third last race of the championship. Harrison Lewis, of course, going up against Louis Greathead, going up against Matty Dench. Title supremacy there for the taking. It's a 3-horse fight, 3 different manufacturers. The Temple of Speed awaits. The invert top 10, the feature, the 4th and final sprint round of the season, the 12th of 14 races in the championship. Bring it on the other side of this short break. Hope you're enjoying Waste Options GT Night, Monday Night Motorsport, platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. This is night 1 of week 8 of term 2 for 2025, and it's all made possible thanks to the great support of Sprite Insider, Waste Options, Trophy AI, Orbic Australia, Balance and Builder's Choice, merch.tgsrci.com, and Flash Graphics at Break and Back. Still catching our breath from the scintillating the GT Pro's opening race of 2 tonight on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club at Monza, ladies and gentlemen. The Temple of Speed now hosting the feature race for GT3 Pro as part of our broadcast of Monday Night Motorsport. This is the 2nd of June 2025. Remembering that we will, of course, have the results from the AM Split and the Pro-Am feature a little bit later on. The Monza circuit in Italy hosting some electrifying action tonight. There's no doubt about that. Jacob O'Reilly fastest in qualifying here ahead of Josh Horton, Richard Mitchum, Harrison Lewis, Sam Chapman, Lewis Greathead, Matty Dench. What the? Whoa, wow-wee. 0.4 of a second. The stakes are high as they've ever been in GT3 Pro here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Bradley Ratu, Daniel Piper, Dylan Shepherd. Good to see Ratu jumping away from the comments section on YouTube and hopping behind the wheel. John Wright, Andrew Scully, Dane Snadden, Eli Donaldson and Jared Knight made up the top 15 in qualifying.
Just over a second covering top 15.
Yeah, extraordinary, isn't it? Really good stuff in Waste Options GT3 Pro at the moment. Race 1 results, Adam Lavis. Let's have a look at those now for everybody at home. And it was Jacob O'Reilly again, this time from Richard Mitchum, Lewis Greathead, Harrison Lewis, Josh Horton, Bradley Ratu, Eli Donaldson, Sam Chapman, Dane Snadden, Matty Dench. Oh, look at this. The Dench mark has finished well down the order, 20 seconds in fact, but he's got the invert pole position. We'll take that. Thank you very much. And now he'll be looking to run with it and convert it into a race win here with a view to improving his position in the championship. Led at the moment by Harrison Lewis, 328. Blaze Lewis Greathead, 274, and Matty Dench, 249. 79 points the advantage that Lewis enjoys over his teammate, and it's 54 between himself and Lewis Greathead as well. That's almost as good as a country mile in this caper with 3 rounds to go. And, of course, those points from the first race will be applied a little bit later on this evening. We'll hopefully bring you an updated points table before we're off air tonight. 34% humidity at the moment, 29 degrees the ambient, 48 on track, partly cloudy conditions, but dry at the moment. Wind in a southeasterly direction, 7 kilometres an hour, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We're ready to go racing once more. The feature grid looks like this. Invert top 10, Matty Dench on pole. For Orbit Drop there, wearing the number 1, but for how much longer? I never thought I'd be saying that in 2025. Dane Snadden, Sam Chapman, Eli Donaldson, Bradley Radu, Josh Horton, Harrison Lewis, Lewis Greathead, Richard Mitchum and Jacob O'Reilly, the top 10 on the grid. Look at that. Orbit Drop there heavy, that top 10, and Vermilion as well. David Johnson, Ryan Campbell, Nick Wood, Dylan Shepherd, Alan Dawson, Richard King, Jeff Adams, Blake Fitz, Brad Coates, John Wright. Back we go then to Chook Fung Wong, Bobby Camo, Andrew Scott Ellis, Jared Knight, Daniel Piper, Dave Riddell, Tom Foster and Oscar Haynes. No Bobby Camo. He's on pit road. No Thomas Foster. He's done for the night. So we're down to 26. We've got McLaren, Porsche, Ford, BMW, Acura, Ferrari, McLaren, I've already mentioned. Don't worry about that too much. Porsche, McLaren, Acura, BMW, Ferrari, Ford. Is that it? So there's no Audi, there's no Mercedes, there's no Corvette, and there's no Lambo. Wowee. Only 6 manufacturers out there at the moment. Bobby Camo has joined on pit road, so he will start from pit lane. So we're back to 27. We are ready to fire. The feature race here, how important it is for Matt Dench. But he finds his way to the front and stays there. He gets the jump on Dane Snadden and goes. And can Snadden be something of an anchor for the likes of Chapman, Donaldson and Radu, who will be trying to work their way through the field with an eye or a view to getting towards the front and taking the task, taking the fight to Matty Dench. It's on his accelerator. He hits the gas. We get going. Third last race of the championship. Let's get going again at Monza. Dench leads Snadden to turn 1. Snadden being gobbled up left and right. Donaldson to the outside. Chapman to the inside. Gone! 3 of them! Can you believe that? And Dench has been taken as well! By the spinning Eli Donaldson! They've gone 10-pin bowling on the main straight at Monza! Louis Greathead comes through to 4th. Eli Donaldson the 2nd. Bradley Rudder, the big winner at the start. He's up to 3rd. Dane Snadden dropped back to 5th. Harrison Lewis to 6th. Josh Horton. Jacob O'Reilly. Chapman's lost out immensely. And Denchi's parked up on the inside. Oh no, it's Radu. It's Radu. It's Bradley Radu parked up on the inside. My apologies. Dench observing a slowdown now as well. He's going to be relegated to 4th. Harrison Lewis will make it 5th. Potentially unbelievable. We'll have a look at that again. Eli Donaldson did get into the back of Denchi. Gone the green lights for about half a dozen men already. Bobby Camo joined into the back of the field. 3 wide down the back straight. Thankfully, it's 2 by the time they get to the Ascari. They were never getting there through their 3 wide. Can you believe the start to the feature, Adam Lavis? And it continues.
It's very hectic out there at the moment. It's all kicked off.
It's ridiculous.
Oh.
There's Harry. Oh, trouble, gone. Chamo, well, Mitchum, gone. See you later. 3 in the wall, 3 in the gravel. Dane Snadden involved as well. Unreal. Greathead leads, Jonathan 2nd. It's fallen into the lap of Lewis Greathead up 7 on the opening lap. Donaldson +2, Lewis +3, Horton +2, Dench -4, O'Reilly, Campbell, Wood, Wright and Dawson. Shepard in 11th, now 10th on the inside of Dawson. Trouble here, brewing at the moment. Shepard around the outside. And look who's going with him. Richard King trying to push him through. Jeff Adams involved in that fight as well. Uh-oh, Shepard got away with it. On John Wright to the outside. I don't think it's going to settle down anytime soon here. Breath of Australia, gone, Sean! Wow, John Wright in the wall. Big one. And he's been cleaned up by a couple on the way through. John Wright charge is done. Another incident for race control. Let's actually have a look at. Did he do that all on his own? Did he get some help? We probably didn't have the best angle of that one. We will have another look.
Are we gonna...
Adam Laver's replay meter is working overtime at the moment.
Are we going to have time to look at all these things?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But this is down the back straight we go. This is extraordinary. Denchi -4 already for Robert Drop there, so it's clear that it's not a Porsche circuit tonight. Chapman, Ratu, Snatton, Johnson and Wright all on pit road at the moment.
So the interesting thing is race control wise. So Hendo normally does the pro split, but he's had some computer issues. So Stridey stepped up the pro split tonight.
Hang on. Two things. Speaking of computer issues, Matty Dench just disappeared off the face of the planet and then came back, I think.
Yeah.
Or has he gone?
It's still saying out on the timer tower.
Dench is gone. Dench has dropped off the face of the planet. I think it's packet loss. He's not showing on pit road. Dench is done. And so too is the charge for title number 14. Can you believe this? Sam Chapman picks up a drive-through. You saw that memo come through bottom of screen. High state, high pressure, high drama.
So Endo's had a bit of a fixie-dixie, he's got it, but just for this week, him and Stridey swap spots. So Stridey's doing pro and Endo's doing pro-am. And Stridey's getting welcomed by the boys by the look of it.
I cannot wait for Strider to pop his head in here and say g'day a little bit later on. It is going to be hilarious. He better not do it whilst we're on air. It'll be an off-air discussion, I would imagine. But I reckon he'll be begging, pleading and praying with Kevin Henderson to never swap servers again. Oscar Haynes, 15th at the moment. Daniel Piper and Brad Coates for company. So too Dave Riddell. Blake Fitz, Sam Chapman, Bradley Radu, David Johnson, John Wright, Dane Snadden, all on pit road. No fast repairs in the pro split in the feature race. So I dare say those 6 men are parked up and done. Jeff Adams, he hustled and bustled through here. I've got a message from Chabo. I'll get to that in a moment. Down the main straight we go. I'm surprised they didn't neutralise the race. Actually, I'm surprised Sky didn't hurl above the cars and say, you know what, safety car. Matty Dench out. That is the biggest story of the season. Nice driving standards, gotta love to see it, is the comment from Denchy. So I'm not sure whether he's parked up in protest or had a packet loss or something, but he has just commented on the Discord server on GT3. He might not be happy with the driving standards there, judging by that comment. And it's not often that you hear or see or read Denchy getting political. Lewis Greathead, the race leader at the moment. There goes Richard King through to 9th on the inside. Greathead, Donaldson, Lewis, Orton, O'Reilly and Campbell, the top 6. 4 McLarens and Acura, a Ferrari in that top 6. The first 4 Fords is Nick Wood in 7th. Shepard, King and Dawson make up the 10. Go Adam.
I got a feeling there's going to be possibly some instant point drive-throughs because the amount of off-tracks going on my track at the moment, it's just lining up for like little 1 second off tracks all over the place.
Don't doubt that. The comment from Chapo in my messenger at the moment. Yeah. Down the inside. That's Jared Knight going to 10th. Now we've got a BMW in the tennis. Cura, Ferrari, Ford, and BMW. 5 in the 10. First of the Porsches is now 11th in Alan Dawson. Remember, we've only got 6 manufacturers in here tonight. We've got Denchi parked up, Fitz, Snadden, Chapman, Radu, Johnson, Wright. They all know, right, if they can get their cars repaired, they can get back out there. They can get championship points if they finish at 75%. Now, we need to probably see that again and see where the first point of contact happened, whether it was that they've hung it on Chapman. They've given him the drive-through. They've said that he's at fault.
There's a little touch there, but that's all right. Then Chapman comes across in the braking zone.
Right there, back. See you later, done. Yeah, right. And Denchi got helped through there as well. And I'm not sure. To be fair, if Denchi would have copped as much of a slowdown had he gone through the way you're supposed to. I'm not sure. There it is. There's the tap there. So that's where Denchi's copped the slowdown, because if it had gone through the witches' hats that are put in place there at a moderate tempo and not just driven through them, if it had weaved his way through accordingly, then different story. But because trouble, that was John Wright's incident. Yeah,
he's wide. He was already wide, I think.
Can we get an onboard and just have another look at that potentially? Hard to do if old mate can't hold his line on a rolling start from Michael Brannan. Some need to learn spatial awareness. Not the first time he did that today. Okay, interesting comments coming through there. I think our comments are going to be turned off at some point tonight. Now let's have a look. Yeah, all on his own. Although Shepherd's finished him off. He was going, but Shepherd's finished him off. Absolutely. And no mercy given either. And I can't say that I blame Shep in that regard. Righto. So, how do we analyse all of that? Well, Sam Chapman's here to have a chat to us. Eli Donaldson's under pressure now. Boy, here we go. Reese Harrison Lawless, the championship leader, fighting for it. Trying to get by Eli Donaldson. Remember that Lewis Greathead's the race leader and he's up the road 2.8 seconds. Remember, we've had all that action in 6 laps and these blokes haven't come to pit lane yet. There's still compulsory pit stops to come. Someone that won't make it there, Sam Chapman. How damaged is that race car, please?
Yeah, fairly damaged. I don't think I'll go back out again tonight.
I imagine so. Now, the Dench party getting very vocal about it, and I can understand that. They're obviously very frustrated with Matt's night done. I didn't see Matt pull up and exit, but the fact that he's only showing it 2.04 laps, I don't know whether it was packet loss or whether he's just hit the fast escape button. I don't know. I didn't see it. And it hasn't come up on our replays yet either. So someone might want to enlighten me on what the hell's going on there, because when someone drops off like that and it's not on pit road, it usually screams packet loss, but I don't think it's happened because, as I say, the Denchies are coming in at the moment. Chapo, talk us through it from your standpoint, please, because you're the one that copped the drive-through. Obviously, that penalty will be reapplied if you don't get back out there to serve it.
Does it? I mean,
I don't know. I'm assuming you'll get something in the form of penalty. If you
have I got to do the Esteban knock-on? It's extra lap, do I?
Possibly.
I'll do that then, I guess. But yeah, I mean, from my perspective, it was unfortunate. I was already absolutely slammed going down that straight, and it's that classic issue with Monza where the pit lane sort of tightens on the side. So I was following that line while the others were following the centre line. And we came across that way. So it's an unfortunate incident. I'm sorry for those that got caught up in it, but it is a classic Monza issue of that sort of tightening track right there.
Yeah, we've seen it a few times before. Not as spectacularly as that, though, unfortunately. Bobby Camo has come back to pit lane as well, folks, and he's back out again. We've got Harrison Lawless here on screen. Can you believe it? The rate of attrition, folks, there's only 19 cars genuinely left in this race. Bobby Camo being 20th, but well down the line, 2 pit stops. Richard King off the road momentarily here. That's going to allow a little bit of chopping and changing to occur. through Jeff Adams and Andrew Scordilis as well. Yeah, it is unfortunate, Chubbo, because it's such a championship-defining moment, isn't it? I mean, it's not lost on anybody that when we talk about this series, we talk about Denchi being the benchmark. He needed a good result tonight. His championship defence is probably ending here. You, of course, were in the top 8 coming into the round, looking to improve on your position. There are so many tales of the walking wounded to come out of that incident. But then again, of course, it wasn't just that incident. There was also the other one that you were caught up in at the end of the lap too.
Yeah, that other incident was just the icing on top, really. So, and that was completely impossible to avoid at that point. So, yeah, I guess there's a few. It's been pretty biff and barge racing, I guess, particularly at the front tonight. We've, had a fair biff and barge with Denchi in the first race. Some pretty pushy racing. Didn't see that. Interesting night. Good to see the rest of the boys, though, doing well. Lewis, Josh, and Riley. Eli doing a pretty good job as well, all things considered, being involved in that early on too. So,
That just finishes the job, doesn't it?
Sure does.
It's so frustrating for all and sundry.
Well, yes, and my visibility is not that great at the moment, so that
I was going to say, what the hell is going on with your screen at the moment, please? Because we believe that you have been racing in a semi-compromised manner.
Yeah, no, you can ask my friends at ViewSonic. This is the second screen that's gone to shit. I've got a bit of half a screen at the moment, which is.
You need to find a new screen provider, is what you're saying.
Well, I do. I mean, but once you've got 3 of them, you need 3 of the same. So you sort of keep going back to the same guys. I'm hoping I've got something on the stress post. Hopefully they get it to me by Thursday, because on half a screen will be a bit grim. But we'll see how we track with that.
Indeed. And we don't like seeing those incidents happen. Here comes Harrison Lewis to pit lane. Further compromised, I guess, as well, mate, John Wright's just got back out there, by the way, folks. John Wright back out there 10 minutes, 28 seconds later. His problem is he's down 5 laps. If he can stay only... Actually, no, he's probably going to be down 6 at the end of this race. And if he does drop that 6th lap, he can't get classified on 75% distance. Remember, it's a 20-lap race. 75% is 15. You need to complete 15 laps. So right at this moment, you're putting a line through Dench, Fitz, Snadden, Chapman, Radu, Johnson, all out, all done. They may as well just exit the server now, because they won't be getting classified tonight. Disaster for all and sundry there. John Wright won't even pick up championship points for 21st. So we're going to have 20 finishes at minimum, at maximum, I should say, on the back of all of that. It is, I guess, one of the pitfalls of the sprint racing format, Chapo. It's twofold. One, the potential for incidents, particularly here at Monza, but 2, when you look at the invert top 10 as well, and furthermore, no fast repairs to fall back on, and it's just a domino effect from there. Some heavyweights sitting on pit lane at the moment, including Bradley Radu.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's always the risk in these GT3 Pro Series is that lack of fast repair, so you don't get that chance to, I guess, reset and go back out. I don't know whether it makes the racing any better or cleaner. I think people just race the same way. It just means that they're screwed if they get caught in incidents. But I guess that is what it is when it comes down to it. But my view is that we do fast repairs because is one of the benefits of the sim, that you can have people, go and hit your car back together and go back out again. We're here for fun, not for, cheap stations. But, that sort of is what it is when it comes to this. But, it certainly changes up the race. And the guys, there you go, almost another one going into turn 1 there. And, it's that classic case of squeezing that person on the outside.
Indeed. Such a trademark of Monza racing. Alan Dawson, Chook Fung Wong, Richard King, Richard Mitchum have all completed their CPS at this point in time. So too Harrison Lillis. He's best placed of anyone. 2 of stocks, 9.52 seconds out in 14th. And I guess we're now looking at him, aren't we? We're looking at Lewis Greathead, we're looking at Jacob O'Reilly, we're looking at him because Lillis has gone for clear air. Everybody else is still out there in the thick of it. From a selfish standpoint, mate, obviously it's not ideal for you not to be out there, but your teammates are 1 and 2 at the moment. They're sitting
And
pretty...
3.
Yep.
Oh.
1, 2.
Hang on. Just let me jump in there and say I didn't know that because where it says, yeah, I was going to say it says none where team name is supposed to be under Josh Horton.
Yep.
Thank you, Adam Lavis. I knew you'd be onto that. Go for it, Chapo.
Yeah, no, they're doing well, and that's what matters at this point. You know, as I've said, I've had a pretty rough few rounds, so my championship is well and truly over in this. You know, my job is to help out the team at this point and try and help Lewis. He's looking pretty in second, and depending on what happens, might be able to push that top. But it's quite a way to Lewis at this point. Take a fair bit, but I'll help those guys get on the podium, and hopefully, that's where they're at the end of the season, and I'll just see if I can score within the Porsche Cup, which has turned into the series that I'm focusing on now, I guess.
And how are you feeling about that going into Thursday night?
Well, I did a few laps over the weekend with the Nerds, so we've got some comfort there. I've got sort of liking the Porsche, but we'll see. Hopefully I can get home in time to get out there for quality and that sort of thing. I've declined the dinner, so we'll see where we can get to. It'll be a tough fight. But it's very close up there at the top. It's sort of one position in it really with an endurance race. So fingers crossed we can try and see a few more points on Hayden within that.
Indeed. Greathead, O'Reilly, Campbell, Donaldson, Shepherd, Wood, Scordillis, Haynes, Pike, and Riddell, the top 10 here at the moment. Top 10 yet to stop. No to Brad Coates.
Eric, are you still in the server?
Yeah, I am.
Can you just check the entry page to see if anyone's close to the instant limit? Because I'm getting a lot of off tracks.
Yeah, so have a quick look. I've got very limited visibility of this at the moment, but so Shep's on 10, so he's a relatively high score. Dillis is on 14. So that's getting up there.
I think it's only 15 for a sprint race, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. So that's getting very close.
You, Rudder, and Johnson still sitting in the server as well, Chapo. You three are non-classified, obviously. Snappen's exited, Fitz has exited. Denchi, we're being asked by Sam Blacklock what the hell happened there. I'm none the wiser to that as well.
See if I can do some intel.
You might have to ask him.
I'll have a look and see what happened.
Last I sighted him, he was coming across the line at the end of lap 2, and then he just disappeared. So he got killed at turn. Bradley Rather is right. He got killed at turn 1, but that was on lap 1. It wasn't. I didn't see what happened on lap 3. We need to go and have a look at that. Chapo's going to update us on a couple of things from internally within the server in just a moment. There's Matty Dench again.
I think he's gone to pits. I reckon he's just gone to
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
I reckon he's just chucked it.
I think he's been DQ'd.
Oh yeah.
For
No. He's. Oh no. Yeah. He went into pits at 230 k's an hour. He went into 230 k's an hour. So that'll do it. No. He's stroppy.
Okay.
He's not happy.
I was going to say. Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Sam. Question asked, question answered. We got to the bottom of that. So he's gone to pit road, and before he even pulls up in his pit box, he's sped down pit lane, and iRacing have just said, you know what? No, we're not even going to penalise that. We're just going to evict him. And that would have to be a first for M. Dench to have a DQ next to his name in a race in which we've broadcast on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And that tells you everything about what's unfolding here at the moment.
It may have been on F4. It may not have been DQ. It may have been on F4, but it looked a bit odd.
Yeah, I think it was probably just a rage quit, but I guess could have been that. I'm not sure. I've never entered pit lane at 230 k's an hour during a race, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's right. Can you trial it for? No, don't.
I mean, at this point, I could, quite frankly. I'm only out there for testing.
That's right. Oh, you have gone back out? Good boy.
I will have to head out in a tick, otherwise
Yeah.
I'll get another penalty, won't I? So.
That's right. You've got to serve your drive-through. That's right. And that will happen with a meatball. Lewis Greathead, Ryan Campbell, Eli Donaldson, Nick. Wait, hang on. No, there he is. He's popped back up. What the bloody hell?
That was
Harrison Lewis. That's our championship leader. And down the outside goes Jacob O'Reilly. This race is well and truly on. They're contact. They're rubbing doors to turn 1 to turn 2. O'Reilly crisscross up and under. Oh, brilliant stuff. Lewis is right there. They're trying to go with Horton. They're losing track of him. They're losing contact. They're losing the potential, the benefit from the slipstream, the drag, the draft. And there's still 8 laps to go. There's been so much unfolding tonight. And you get the feeling there's more still to come. Contact again. The door-to-door stuff continues. Unbelievable. Lewis and O'Reilly, they're banging doors literally at Monza. Acura versus McLaren, how good is this? I don't envy Sam Stratton race control though, boys.
No, I went in before and he said, I'll talk to you later. So I think he wants to focus on what's going on in the race, and we can go from there afterwards.
So you've already organised, you've already arranged a post-race meeting with the race control, is what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah, we'll have an agenda.
There is an appointment that awaits. Lewis Greathead to pit lane. Here we go. Let's hope he doesn't muck it up. Ryan Campbell, Eli Donaldson also in. Rain's 13 seconds down the road. That's how dominant Greathead's been so far tonight. Donaldson would then score Dillis. They're all in. This is a critical lap. Lap 13. Daniel Piper as well has continued on, actually. He's going to lead this race through to the end of lap 14. Greathead, Dave Riddell goes through. He hasn't stopped yet either. Top 2 yet to stop. So too Brad Coates. Everybody else is fair game. Greathead leads. It's a fair old advantage he's got over Josh Horton as well. A very healthy advantage that Lewis Greathead enjoys there. Harrison Lewis is third. Jacob O'Reilly still chasing him. I reckon he wants to get square at some point. Ryan Campbell, Eli Donaldson have come through. Rick Wood, Dylan Shepherd, Jared Knight. See, if you're one of those guys where, you know...
Slow down.
Uh-oh, that'll do it. So, cue another round of that fight between Jacob O'Reilly and Harrison Lewis. This is the point, though. Excuse me, folks, I've still got a bit of a cough, so I'm trying to clear that as well as commentate at the same time. It's not an easy thing to do. I'm just having a look around this leaderboard, right? Sam Blacklock's not in the server tonight. Matty Dench is out of business. Chapman's parked up. I haven't called Tyson Ford's name yet. So if you're still within the fight, that's 6 of the 10. You're benefiting greatly if you stay out there and you finish strong. But it's also the guys beyond that, outside the top 10 of the championship, that are trying to fight their way in, you know. And I'm looking at someone like, well, actually, no, not even Thomas Foster, actually. Dane Snadden in 16th. So 11th through 16th aren't even in contention, nor Benny Woods. Andrew Scordillis, I reckon I've called him already tonight. He's out there with 12. He's up plus 11, so he'll gain some points. He'll leapfrog Woodsy. He'll probably leapfrog Dane Snadden. He might even be up to Ryan Bettis by the end of the night. Chook Fung Wong, 13th right now, plus 8. He's had some good overtaking practice tonight as Chook. There's Daniel Piper and Dave Riddell going to pit lane, therefore the field is cleansed. And we're racing to the checkered flag. Radu and Johnson parked up, done for the night. Oh, see, and this is the thing, right? It's an interesting dynamic, Chapo and Adam. Adam, you know what it's like. You race here when you're not on producing and directing our broadcast, of course. We're in an interesting sort of situation because, yes, there's still clearly a battle out there between Harrison Lewis, Jacob O'Reilly. We know that Lewis is worried about the advantage that he has or doesn't have on Lewis Greathead. Greathead's got the advantage at the moment. Sway! We're getting a little bit close for comfort there with Chook Fung Wong. Gets down the inside of Dave Riddell and goes to 12. Fangirl Scordillis next time being plus 9 now for Chook. Scordillis was the one who was pushing through. It's interesting, isn't it? You know, we're not racing for Grid City. We're not racing for, you know, a knock on the door from Toto Wolff or Christian Horner or anything like that. But there's something to be said about the passion in which everyone goes, the passion that everyone has for what they do, and when we go racing, and what they bring to the table when the gloves are on, the visors go down, the lights go out, right? And that's all been on show tonight, for good and bad, right and wrong. Who cares? I don't particularly. I'm just here to talk about it and commentate it and try and make sense of it. Very hard to do on a night like tonight because there's been so much going on. But that it just goes to show, even though there's not, this isn't life and death. This isn't anybody's, 9 to 5, crust. No one's racing for exorbitant amounts of prize money or anything like that here. There's something to be said about the passion that they bring to the table when they go racing, and we've seen that in spades the last 25 minutes or so. A lot of people pent up, frustrated, and there's a fair bit of angst around with regards to how events are played out, and that happens, doesn't it? Especially at this business end of the season when there's so much riding on it in terms of, if nothing else, bragging rights.
Yeah, absolutely. And this season's a bit unique in one factor, in that it doesn't look like Denchi is going to take it. That's the first time in a very long time. So that creates a very different dynamic when everyone's not fighting for second place as they have been for so many seasons now, that dominance. So, I think that probably plays a part. I think you've probably got a group of, a few teams that are very, very competitive at the front that we haven't seen, before as well, and that race each other fiercely in this and other series and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's certainly played out tonight. It's probably been brewing for the whole season, really.
Indeed, yeah, it's so extraordinary what we've seen play out tonight. If nothing else, it's hard on sleeve stuff. And from a commentary standpoint, it fuels the storylines and the narrative for the next couple of weeks, because there's some rivalries and there's some hostilities brewing and there's some scores that are being settled, and it's going to be very interesting to see how race control go about it over the next couple of weeks, knowing the angst within the paddock. Hello, Brad. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, big follow music indeed. No, that was just my observation in the whole thing, because we very rarely, it's been a while since we've seen tempers flaring the way they have tonight, but it's understandable. There's so much going on, so much riding on this in terms of GSRC history. As I said, no one's making a living out of this. But when you pour so much, when it's a leisurely activity and you pour so much time and effort into it, it'd be hard not to. Jeez, there was almost contact there again between Dylan Shepherd and Nick Wood. It'd be hard not to be parochial and passionate about it. And we love that. We absolutely love it. That's why we keep coming back and doing this thing 21 seasons later. Dylan Shepherd in 7th at the moment, being hounded by Nick Wood. McLaren versus Ford. At the moment, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 McLarens again. Last term vibes again. In the top 10, you've got a Ford, a Bimmer, a Ferrari, and an Acura as well. When's the guest commentator coming on? Well, what do you mean? What do you mean, Brad? Guest commentator. We're always welcome. We're always open to having people jump into the green room and have a chat to us. If you want to jump into the green room and come on and have a chat with us, welcome to in the Discord. You know where it is. Oh, Nick Wood down the inside. Feeds Dylan Shepherd a little bit of door. Through they go, rounded onto the main straight. Great head, Horton, O'Reilly. 1, 2, 3 Vermillion, Lillis, Campbell, Donaldson, and this epic scrap between Shepherd and Wood down the main straight. Wood to the inside, Shepherd to the outside. Here we go. Wood tucks back in behind. Will he go deep under brakes? No, we'll follow Shepherd through. Down to the first corner we go. 3 laps to go. McLaren 1, 2, 3. Lillis doing the best he can in damage limitation circumstances. Get the job done here. Tick the box, move on. Bag the points. and put one hand on an historic championship win for so many reasons. I mean, it will, as I said last week, and I couldn't really articulate it, and I still can't because of the enormity of it, folks. So I've got to try and find the words to give it the respect it deserves. As we watch this battle continue between Dave Riddell in 13th and Andrew Scott Ellis and Chook Fung Wong. Off track of work on winding up deluxe at the moment, Adam Lavis.
Yeah, this battle's just started because Chuck's finally got the move done on Scott Ellis. So now he's fed him back to Dave Riddell and said, you have that. I'm off to see the guys ahead.
Plus 15, Jared Knight, Daniel Piper. Plus 13, Dave Riddell and Oscar Haynes. So they're the big movers of this race thus far. Pit lanes, you can see of the rank and file, really. Chapo's finally got back out onto the racetrack, which is good news. John Wright's out there as well. Neither one of those guys going to be classified. Dench, Fitz, Snadden, Rado and Johnson all out of business, parked up and done. Jeff Adams under pressure now from Oscar Haynes. 2 to go for Lewis Greathead. A run home. So it's simmered a little bit. It's calmed down considerably. But Vermillion are going to lock out the podium here. McLaren are going to lock out the podium here at Monza. And Harrison Lewis is going to put one hand on the championship. I mean, all good things come to an end. You know, streaks are there to be ended and broken. And, I mean, there will be part of us that will be somewhat sad to see Dench's lane end as Chapo departs the commentary box. Kind of always comes into the commentary box, Brad, to have a chat and doesn't mind stirring a few pots along the way. I'm sure he'll come and have a chat to us at some point. He's probably out enjoying the rest of Western Australia Day at the moment. Only they would have a public holiday for a state day. We have Queensland Day apparently this weekend, but no one knows anything about it because it's a public holiday. Anyway, he's more than welcome to come in and have a chat anytime he likes. He knows that. He'll probably be here car 500 a couple of weeks at the weekend. But it's interesting, isn't it? You know, the enormity of what's about to unfold here. We've been talking it up for a while. We never thought we'd see this day come. Now it's upon us, and we don't know how to respond to it because it's historic for so many reasons. There will be people somewhat disappointed to see the streak, the run of 13 consecutive titles end. But I don't think any of us will be mourning it, if you know what I mean, if that makes sense, because it's healthy to have a changing of the guard, and it's healthy to have live competition and a battle for a championship rather than a fight for second all the time. So in that aspect, it's just going to reinvigorate GT3 in a very healthy way. Here's Rick Wood. Sorry, that's Eli Donaldson and Ryan Campbell. My apologies. I called that wrong because Shepherd's behind with Nick Wood and Jared Knight now latching onto that as well. This battle is for 5th. It's the closest battle on the racetrack. And the Ferrari looking for a top 5 finish here, Ryan Campbell. 4th is Harrison Lewis up the road. Campbell to the outside. Has been covered off by Donaldson. Donaldson in the wars at the start of the race. He was the one that got... Oh, jeez. They nearly came together.
They did. They had a bit of a run.
They nearly came to blows. Donaldson was the one that got pirouetted into Denchi earlier in the night. We've got Craig Bond and Kurt Nominson standing by to educate us on how the AM and Pro-Am splits played out, ladies and gentlemen. Full post-race show coming up. And it's going to be a lengthy one because I think we're going to have to preface what we bring you on the results board in a moment from GT3 as provisional. Great heads at the last turn. Great heads heading to the checkered flag. Horton and Riley will make it. Vermillion, 1, 2, 3. Lewis Greathead gets a vitally important championship win at Monza. What about that? Horton and O'Reilly. Was he? Horton has slowed down and O'Reilly has gone second. Willis to 4th. Donaldson to fifth has held off Frank Campbell by bare inches. Shepherd, Wood and Knight. And Daniel Piper will make up the top 10. Greathead from 8th on the grid, a 3rd and a 1st. And that will put him right up in contention as far as round honours are concerned. Lillis with 2 fourths. O'Reilly with actually, it'll be O'Reilly's night, I'd say. It'll most likely be O'Reilly's night, a 1st and a 10th on the grid, 2nd in the race, a 1st and a 2nd, it'll be his night. And Greathead with 2 thirds, with a 3rd and a 1st. So it'll come back to the bonuses and all that sort of stuff. But again, it's all provisional, folks. We'll try and make sense of it for you shortly. Lillis, Donaldson, Campbell, 4, 5 and 6. Shepherd, Wood, Knight, Piper. That was a great charge from Jared Knight. Biggest move of the race, up 15 spots. Fang Wong, Riddell, Scordillis, Haynes. Adams, Dawson, King, Mitchum, Camo, Coates, the top 20 right. Chapman got out there in the end. He won't be classified. Norwell, Dench, Fitz, Snadden, Radu and Johnson. John Wright ended up finishing 5 laps down. So he actually did get classified. He did not go 5 laps down, more than 5 laps down. So he got back to lap 15. So he does get classified. That is a lucky escape for the Whiskey Business Racing entry of John Wright in the Acura. Art Baz wins the feature in the Pro-Am split ahead of Paul Wood, James Parker, Eduardo Zamora, and then Will Buchanan, Will Yarwood, Stephen Gallacher, Kurt Nommenson, Lachlan Potter, and Todd Suter. Hey, Kurt, well done. 8th place there. Very good pace. Wed Bondi finish, please. Adam, can we just scroll down the leaderboard there? Can we have a look at that?
He wasn't far behind me.
Yeah, he's 12th, which was a not too bad recovery from him after what can only be described as a race to forget in the sprint race earlier in the evening, and a qualifying to forget as well. So I'll get to you two blokes in just a moment. I paused there momentarily a few seconds ago, folks, to just take in the comment that was being passed on by Sam Stride, because Stridey was just passing on a memo to all the drivers to make their way to race control. One by one, individually, they'll sit in there, they'll have a chat, they'll pick it all apart, they'll make sense of it. So all the results for Pro are provisional at this point in time, because Stridey's got a bit of paperwork and video replay to go through. Sam Woodhouse got pole position in the AM split. Quinton de Klerk, Nick Wilcoxon, Stephen Thomas, then Patrick Hurnell, John Simpson, Mitch Buckman, John Ragwani, Liam Amos, and Andrew Hayes, the top 10. The great man Bradley Ratu's graced us with his presence, and I appreciate him doing so. I'll get him to hang tight there while I chat to the Pro-Am boys in just a moment. Heat 1, Sam Woodhouse converting pole position, very nicely so, winning the 12-lap race ahead of Nick Wilcoxon, Liam Amos, then Mitchell Buckman, Dale Atkins, Tim Watson, Tristan Kosh, Robert Gay, Joe Hargraves, and Jadash Ragwani. And again, Woodhouse, the clean sweep. How about that? From 10th on the grid through, took John Simpson with him. Simo picking up second, 6 seconds to winning margin. Jadash Ragwani third. Good night out for Whiskey Business. Tristan Kosh, Patrick Hurdle, Mitchell Buckman, Andrew Hayes, Liam Amos, Tim Watson, and Joe Hargraves at the top.
No, Nicholas there. Oh, let's do Jim Chip.
Yeah, so can we have a look down there? Will Coxon's come home 13th on the lead lap, but yeah, a minute off the pace. Not sure. Okay, interesting. Dylan Shepherd very happy with his night. He was just seeing the praises of everybody, good racing, etc. And also congratulating Nick Wood for his participation in their battle. Let's have a look at this replay of the start, folks, because this is where it all went to the proverbial. There was the first bit of contact, and then there's that second bit, which cleans Chapman, Snadden, Donaldson, and Dench up. Ratu, the beneficiary of that in the early stages. He didn't last much longer. Then we had, of course, Harrison Lillis weaving his way through as well. It all blew up, both on and off the track. Tempers flared significantly after that moment. That wasn't the end of the silliness either, because it continued up here. at the end of the opening lap at the final corner as well. And then there was that off-track moment. I think that was Bradley observing a slowdown potentially, or realising the car was broken. One of the two. He did end up on pit lane and out of business. So, yeah, a fairly hectic night. Boys, just Bondi, Kurt, hang tight. I'm going to come to you momentarily. Louis and Bradley as well. Want to bounce straight to Paul Wood, who's been good enough to join us and say g'day, because then I'm going to let him go to race control, because there's a fair bit of work waiting for you there, my friend. There's a fair bit of tape to pick apart from tonight. The boys might need some help. Firstly, GT4, would you like to make any comment on that, or are we just writing that one off?
Probably only advice is it always pays to go in a little bit prepared for a race.
Yep.
Yeah, I had nothing, no setup, I hadn't done practice or anything, and that car did not like that back chicane, and yeah, so I thought it's probably just safe for me to get out of the way.
Indeed, and you did just that. Talk us through your thoughts on Monza in GT3 and how you fared throughout the course of the evening. That was the other big incident on the opening lap too, by the way, folks. That cleaned up Richard Mitchum and a few others. Mitchum, of course, did recover to finish 18th, but yeah, that was the end of the road for Chapo and a few others as far as any hope of factoring in contention was concerned. And pit lane was a tale of the walking wounded after just one lap in the feature race here. Woodsy, how do you see it from your standpoint? I mean, 32 laps around the Temple of Speed. Interesting hour.
Yeah, it was. For me, it actually went far better than I was expecting. I only qualified in 18th, and I was hoping a little bit higher than that. But managed to get top 10, come 7th in the first one, so put me in good stead for the second race. And yeah, managed to capitalise on it. And Art Baz and me sort of pulled away early on in the race, and it was just a matter of us just pulling a gap. But old Art just had a little bit too much straight line speed on me. I just couldn't get a move on him, and then the pit stop I took 2 tyres, which held me a little bit longer than the fuel, and I think that cost me just a little bit of a gap to Art. So when he got out, I was a little bit in front, but I managed to close it up until I made one mistake, and then that was that. So all in all, a good night for me, far better than I was expecting coming into the evening, so I'm happy with it.
And you're one of the few that is happy with tonight. I will give you the tip. A very big night. The last of the sprint rounds. I reckon that a few people are happy to see the back of this format for a while.
Yeah, look, the sprint rounds, they have their place, but as you know, I'm more preferential or partial to the longer rounds, so I'm looking forward to the next two. Spa's always a fun track, and the Nords, well, it's always a good challenge in and of itself, whether you're racing by yourself or in a pack. So yeah, let's see what the next couple of weeks brings, and let's see if we can keep some reasonable results coming, and this championship, hopefully, or at least for a minor podium position, could still be alive.
Jackson Rayhana there with some praise for his team boss, Johnny Simpson, and rightly so. Good on you, Jackson. We'll see you on Thursday night, and most likely Friday night as well. Just a heads up with regards to Friday night, folks, I'm still none the wiser as to what the broadcast plans are for Friday night at this stage, with Joe Baldwin out of action this week and me at Morgan Park Raceway in Warwick. I dare say Nick will probably rope Adam into a weekend replay if they can't get something up live on Friday night. So good luck with that, Adam. In the meantime, Woodsy, going back to you. Given the hit and miss nature of the Charlotte Roval, do Rovals now join Oval or the list of disdain?
No, I generally enjoy the Roval tracks, but that one there, like I said, it's the car just wouldn't turn, and at that track you need to have a little bit of grip in the front end, and it just wasn't there. So yeah, like I said, just not being prepared, and I haven't really driven that track all that often, to tell you the truth. I think I could probably count all the races I've done on one hand, so it's not like I'm an experienced person at that track. So I'll just chalk that up to not enough practice, no setup, and yeah, I was just more of a hazard being on the track there. And once I went into the pit after that last one, I had a 40-second stop and hold because my pit limit was on, my lights were all flashing, and the car just kept accelerating up to 80 k's and then locked there instead of at the pit limit of 60. So I received the 40-second stop and hold. So at that point, I'm gone, yeah, I'm just going to be a moving doorstop. So yeah, that's what I thought. I'll pull it and go to GT3.
And on the subject, I mean, you mentioned the Nordschleifer in a couple of weeks' time, GT3, GT4, of course. We've still got 2 big rounds to go there. Not much in the way of participation numbers in GT4 the last couple of weeks. Let's hope that changes for Motorsport and Watkins Glen. Your thoughts on those and your thoughts on Spa in GT3?
Look, GT4, yeah, the numbers. I don't know whether it's just maybe the tracks this season have been a bit of an average track. So yeah, not quite sure what's going on. I know like GT3 has become very competitive, so a lot of guys as well are skipping GT4 to get that extra time. With a bit of extra practice and that sort of thing. So it's one of those things that that's the only reason I can really think of, because I think it's still a great class to race. So yeah, I still look forward to the GT4. But for Spa, yeah, it's always a fun track. It's always a challenge track. So a lot of strategy can come into it. So yeah, I mean, no matter where you are, you can always make some moves and gain some positions. And being the hour race, it's a bit of strategy pit-wise as well. So bring it on. Let's see what happens.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. I'll let you go join the team in race control. It's going to be for them down there. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, guys.
And we'll see Paul Wood later in the week. I'm looking forward to that as well. Kurt Normanson's here, and so too Craig Bond. Bondy, what the hell happened, please?
Bad luck. And
Well, not bad luck.
driver.
No, let's just rewind a second. Qualifying, no time lodged. What happened?
Me. I happened.
Okay.
When you try to get a good lap in, you push it to the limit, and you leave yourself with one lap left, and you get an off track. That is all I'm gonna say, and you know the rest of that story.
Yep. And then, despite a good start, you're on pit road on lap 4. Did you take qualifying fuel instead of race fuel, please?
No, I was in an incident where there's one rejoining, another on the inside, nowhere to go, and got bent steering from the incident, and was given a 5-second penalty.
All right, unlucky. Not a very good result. In saying that, the charge forward was good. You're up 11 spots or whatever it was. Talk us through the challenges of the feature and working your way through the back of the field again to come home in 12th, and that's costly as far as your title aspirations were concerned.
I don't even know what happened in the feature, really. It was coming back from 21st, got up, I think there was one incident I had, and then there was another incident between me and Kurt that happened later on in that race, and yeah, which cost us both a bit of time, but that race was just trying to recover positions and some points.
Yeah, very nicely done. Now, as far as the rest of it's concerned, let's have a chat about next week and how you redeem yourself. Bondy loves a chin wag. Yeah, he does, Nighty, but so do you. Where are you, please? We want to have a chat about the Bimmer and being up plus 15 in that second race if you want to come and join us. Bondy, talk me through now where your focus is going to be. Is it on finishing the Porsche season strong, or is there still a way to find your way back into a title-winning position in GT3 Pro Am, considering that tonight was a result that you didn't need, given that you didn't have a drop round to fall back on, given that you already had an 8 and an 18. They're not the sort of point tools you want to be carrying forward with you. How do you attack the next 2 rounds when we look at where we're going? I mean, we've got Spa, then Nürburgring, Nordschleife, and that's on the back of a not so promising result tonight.
Well, it's not over till it's over, is it, Zach?
That's true.
As we saw last year in karting when I got DQ'd in that Heat 3, came back to win.
True. Yes.
I'm gonna keep this going. I'm gonna give it a hard crack for the next 2 weeks. Probably not my best 2 tracks, but we'll see what happens. Anything happens. There can be an incident or anything happens. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, very nicely done. Is the next time we see Porsche on Thursday, please?
You'll see me Wednesday, but you don't commentate that. So
Correct.
yeah, be.
Well, not this week
Thursday.
anyway. I'm back for. I'm in the Wednesday booth for weeks 9 and 10 because Banksy's decided that the Circuit de la Sarthe was too good a proposition. So he's heading to Le Mans. So I'm not sure who's with Dan Yeoman this week. I was originally meant to be, but because of Ipswich Jets netball commitments. I can't be. So the next two, so weeks 9 and 10, I will be there on a Wednesday night. So you will see me for Arco and Supercars.
Yeah, well, we've got Supercars and Porsche Cup this week, and then focus on the 24 on Saturday.
All right, very nicely done. Now, there is business that I need to take care of with you in a moment. Before that, I guess the only other saving grace for you in that first instance was when we're talking about your championship battles. I mean, Dave Oliver was in there. There were a couple of others in there. They also ran into trouble tonight. That might help you get out of jail, but Adam Chiplin has extended his championship lead. He didn't miss a beat tonight, and it was important that he probably slipped rather than you guys because he was the one with the advantage. He's probably put one hand on the title tonight, so second's still very much there for the taking, but it's going to be a long road.
Well, I'm probably get a podium in the championship, and that's what I'm hoping for. Just get a top 3, and I'll be really happy with coming up from AM and then being a front runner in Pro-Am, which only reason up there in the championship is probably because people swapping cars and getting half points after a few rounds probably promoted me. But on overall pace, I shouldn't really be up there, but I'll take a top 3 if that's what I can get at the end of the season.
All right, very nicely done. Now, the other point that we need to raise here with you, Steve Bond, Scott Jordanson brought this to our attention, not you, but he's brought it to our attention so that we can bring it to everyone's attention on your behalf. Bowel Cancer Australia, you've joined the fundraiser. So tell us what the fundraiser is all about. Obviously, it is Bowel Cancer Awareness Month. I get that, but there's obviously a reason why you're getting behind it, and there's a way in which we can get behind you, get behind it. You're aiming to raise, I'm just reading your page here, mate, you're aiming to raise $500. What's the GO, and how do we contribute?
So later on tonight, once I officially release it to majority of the people that I know, I'll put a link on all my socials, my YouTube, the team account, and I'll put something in the GSRC Discord. We're trying to raise $500 for the Bowel Cancer Australia. Mainly because it's the Bowel Cancer Awareness Month, I thought it'd be a good initiative to start a fundraiser for it, as I have a friend that lost a grandparent not too long ago to bowel cancer, and for them and just everyone suffering from it, I wanted to put what I could to raise some money for it.
All right, mate. Very noble, very worthwhile cause. Very nice of you to get behind that and put it. And hopefully, those that support you and those that view the broadcast follow the link and throw a bit of money towards it. I know cost of living crunch and pressures are biting people hard at the moment, but hopefully we can dig deep and help you guys reach that target. Bowel Cancer Awareness Month, June 2025, and Bondi, of course, are part of the fundraising efforts for that. Good on you, buddy. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. I'll remind me a little bit later on in the month when some money comes in, and I'll slide something your way. Go well for the rest of the night and the rest of the week. I'll catch up with you Thursday.
Yeah, thank you, Zach, and thanks to Scott Jordanson for helping me get this fundraiser started, and I'll be putting a link to it in the comments of this live stream tonight as well. Good boy. Thank you.
Good boy. Excellent. There he is, Craig Bond. Make sure you do it on the Facebook and the YouTube as well. There he is, Bond. Well done. Good boy. The boy from Gun the Guy. Let's not talk so much about race 1, but race 2, good charge inside the top 10, buddy. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, race 1, it was just a simple lap 1 accident, and I clawed myself back inside the top 20, so I'm not too upset with it. Even with a car with wheel damage and aero damage and all that, I was still not too far off the pace, so can't be too upset. A lot of shenanigans on lap 1 again in the feature definitely helped, but yeah, a lot more pace in the feature than I had in the heat.
Indeed. All right. The Audi. Again, you seem to be about the only person living at the time of day. We're almost at that point of the season. I didn't get a chance to ask Chapo about this earlier. We're almost at that point of the season where iRacing is going to come in, drop a heap of content, apply a heap of updates, maybe tinker with some cars, bops, and all that sort of stuff. Are you going to stay loyal to the Audi once Term 2 is done and dusted, or are you keen to look elsewhere? Because it seemed as though it worked for you tonight, but that isn't always the case. And of course, you would be aware that we were having that discussion earlier in the evening in our GT4 coverage, all the moaning, groaning, bitching and whinging that was going on. And I can say that because we're past the 9:30 threshold. With regards to the Merc at Charlotte Roval.
Yeah, I'll probably stay loyal to the Audi. It's not doing too bad for me. I'm getting a lot more consistent in it. Still working out the little things where I can find a little bit more pace, but that'll come with time. So if I stick with the Audi, I might be a little bit more competitive next season, and we'll see how we go. Hopefully the new update with the new tyre model makes it a little bit better for the Audi, because it is a car that definitely relies a little bit more on slide that I've found. So it definitely kills the tyres a lot more because it slides around a lot more on the TC.
Indeed. Monza, not everybody's favourite racetrack, and a few more putting it on their veto list after tonight, I would say. But clearly, even with a damaged car, one that you were able to make the most out of. Is it a circuit that you enjoy?
Yeah, I love racing at Monza. I'm not the quickest, but I do love running around the track, and it's a lot of good fun. Hopefully, I can find a bit more pace, but yeah, we'll get there eventually.
Mate, you didn't have to be the quickest tonight. You just had to stay out of trouble and keep it on the black stuff.
That's it.
And you certainly did that. How does this set you up? I mean, sprint racing done and dusted. Where are the goalposts with regards to the long game? With regards to the final 2 rounds, mate, we're going 60 minutes at Spa next week. That's always an interesting round. And then obviously 90 minutes around Green Hell.
Yeah, if I could be competitive around the back to mid of the top 10, I'll be pretty happy with that. I'm not the fastest this season. Definitely dropped off a little bit of pace, but I'm pretty happy sticking with the Audi, and we'll just run with it and hopefully be a little bit more competitive at the top 10 end of the field for the next 2 weeks.
All right, very nicely done. Apex Hunters, that's Bondi. Well done, boy. Straight on there. Bondi, put the link under the comment. He's forgot the link. Oh dear. You'll see the link come through in a moment, I'm sure. Hey, Kurt, what's next for you, please? I mean, you're busy. You've got plenty of racing on, not just here, but what does this week look like?
It'll just be the next 2 nights of supercars and ARCA on Wednesday night. But yeah, it'll be SRW and gents for the supercars, and then all the focus will shift towards the Green Hell for the weekend for the 24-hour.
The other point I should make is you mentioned ARCA, street racing, Chicago. Oh, geez, that'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll have to see how we go, especially in the ARCA. A lot of slide through there, so we'll see if I can keep it out of the fence and get through with a good result.
All right, very nicely done. Good to catch up as always, Kurt. Well done, mate. Great result. Good night, and look forward to catching up with you in due course. Good luck next week at Spa. We'll chat to you post-race.
No worries, thank you.
There he is. Well done, Bondi. Thank you, mate. Good work. There's the link that time around, ladies and gentlemen. Follow that link. Get behind Bowel Cancer Awareness Month. Now, Lewis Greathead, we're coming to you in just a moment. But Bradley Ruffy's been sitting there waiting patiently since about lap 1 of the feature because he spent 30 minutes on pit road, unfortunately. That's not where we wanted to see you, Bradley. Nice to have you in here, mate, to have a chat with us post-race. Certainly not the result you or the team were hoping for. I mean, Harrison Lillis, yes, that's great. Actually, hang on.
Yeah, hang on.
Hang on. Adam Lavis has given us a pit lane shot here, and it's so sadly appropriate and ironic and all those things because he's given us an empty cockpit. The driver's up and gone to the dunny. Brad, great to have you on board, mate. Wish it was under better circumstances that we're having a chat here. Disappointment for Denchi, disappointment for you. Not the result either of you were hoping for. Harrison puts one hand on the championship. We knew that Denchi's reign was going to end at some point. It looks as though the mantle will stay in the team stable, though, which I guess is the only silver lining in all of that as far as Denchi's concerned. But talk us through your frustrations of that, mate, because as I said, and I was trying to not put too fine a point on it in the commentary, but the intensity of tonight, and I guess the passion was well and truly on show. Tempers fled significantly after lap 1.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal. I think there's certain people that can drink some more milk. But overall, no, it was. I haven't driven much of the GT3s, so I'm, very much sort of figuring out, learning it, getting better every race that I've done. I've only done 3 races. I've been in a different car every round. Race 1 was reasonably okay. I think there was only really one incident going into turn 1. Not exactly sure what he was trying to do, but I was on the inside, held one line, did everything right, and yeah, I'm not sure. And then again in turn 1, pretty much the same thing happened again. Just the initial contact was with someone else, and I got caught up with it.
Yeah, that's always hard, isn't it? When start of the race, field's bunched up, it can be so easy to find yourself caught up in somebody else's garbage. There were a few people that fell foul of that tonight. This was, of course, the point in which your race ended. So just how badly damaged was the car for you to park it after lap 1? Because as we've just seen there, you were able to drive it back under your own steam.
Well, I think I was 90 degrees left or right. I think it was right to go straight. Any corner that there was, the car wouldn't turn. So I can't remember who I had behind me, but I was sort of trying to get out of the way without lifting and getting on the brakes in front of people, accelerating still. But yeah, I did my best to get out of the way. Ended up going pretty much around the back half of the track on the grass just to not kill anyone. But, I did my best tonight, and even after the incident, did my best to stay out of the way. And yeah, unfortunately, Denchi got caught up with it tonight as well. I think he was on the back foot anyway, driving that Porsche. It's clearly a McLaren track, this one. The straight line with the McLarens here are pretty insane. And same as Harry. But, what can you do?
Adam Lavis might know more about this than we do. Adam, if there, did Denchi get listed as a DNF or a DQ? Because, as we said, that was a really weird way in which he exited the service stage right tonight.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had a meatball, to be honest, because if that was a pretty hard hit. I haven't spoken to him, but it was a fairly hard hit.
It's just DNF.
Car.
Just DNF? Yeah. No, it wasn't that whether he had a meatball or not. It was that as he's driven into the pit lane, and he's driven it at about 230 kilometres an hour, I wasn't sure if they had flung him the penalty for the stop and hold for the fact that he sped into pit lane, or whether they've DQ'd him because he sped too far into pit lane. So that's all I was clarifying on that. We knew that he was obviously fed up by that point. Disappointing for him because obviously the Porsche hasn't been the strongest car this season, and this guy, as you know, you've watched what's unfolded over here for a while, Brad. I want to come back and talk to you about running the GT3, obviously, as we go here. But this guy's been the benchmark of the club, the benchmark of the club for 13 seasons. He was in title defence number 13, going for title number 14. It's clear, however, that even though we normally see him get the best out of the cars, it might not necessarily be the benchmark or, the car of choice for the term. Unfortunately, it hasn't been smooth sailing for him in the Porsche, and that has been to the benefit of the guys in the McLarens, and particularly his teammate Harrison Lillis in the Acura.
I'm not going to lie, my headset went flat. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I missed. I heard you talking about Denchi in the Porsche and Harry in the Acura, but details of which I'm not sure. Sorry.
No, that's all right. My point was, it's interesting, my observation, and I'm wondering what your thoughts are on it. The fact that Denchi's been able to, for 13 seasons, dominate this Cape, but this is title number 14 that he was going for. Even when he picks a car that isn't necessarily the leader of the pack in GT3, he's been able to find a way. Same hasn't happened this season. The Porsche just hasn't worked for him in the same way that it has in other terms, right? It's clearly not the car of choice. That's been to the benefit of the boys at Vermilion in the McLaren and his teammate Harry Lillis in the Acura, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's definitely been on the back foot. The Porsche, I think, is the easiest to drive out of the lot. Correct me if I'm mistaken. But if anyone's going to make a car that's not competitive work in a series and bring the title home, it would be Dench. But yeah, just this season hasn't been his. You can't win them all, unfortunately.
Yeah. Now let's talk about you more specifically, right? Because we see you in the YouTube thread, sometimes being a serial pest, sometimes being serious. It doesn't matter. We appreciate the hits, right? Every time you and the boys start going, we hit the 100 comments on Restream and get a congratulatory message, right? So we appreciate the input and the traffic that you guys bring to the table. But let's talk about you, the driver and the competitor, right? It's nice to see you out here on the platforms of the GSRC, plying your trade at GT3. You mentioned it's relatively new to you. Those of us that have been in sim racing circles for quite a while know you from the supercar side of things. Talk me through, because there's a few of you in the same boat, mate. It wouldn't be lost on you this is the case. There's quite a few of you guys that are, loyal to supercars, supercar regulars. That's your main bread and butter. You're broadening the horizons. As much as I hate that phrase, it's true here. You guys are plying your trade in the GT3, trying something else. There are a variety of different reasons for that, but why now for you?
I think just a bit of a change of pace. As much as I want to drive the Vet Supercar, I sort of want to drive something different, and I haven't really been able to put in a heap of time to drive anything really this year. The Gen 3, I wouldn't know how many times I've raced it, but not too many. I think I've probably raced it more times when it first came out than since, apart from the Pro Qual series, which was poor for me anyway. But yeah, I'm in a team that has a bunch of people driving the GT3, so I thought, why not give it a go? Got nothing to lose trying to drive it. I'm more or less just rocking up, throwing a setup that they recommend on the car and driving it and see how I fare. I think every round that I've done so far in GSRC, I've driven, a different car, which I think probably doesn't help my learning, but I think tonight was definitely my best performance, probably helped by it being McLaren.
Yes.
And I got a bit of a front row seat to Dench's incident in race 1, which usually I'm not close enough to him to watch that happen. So.
And, well, to be fair, we didn't see the incident in race 1. We were showing the Pro-Am race at the time, mate, so you had a better view of it than us. In saying that, so let's pick this apart, right? Because obviously we're still in that learning phase. Everybody's still learning Gen 3 supercars, right? So if you're going to go and learn something else, now's as good a time as any, because it's a fresh slate in supercar land. Secondly, you talk about chopping and changing between manufacturers. It might not do your points haul any favour, because you'll immediately, with the pick and stick format, you immediately get your points haul slashed in half as per our regulations. But I'm going to argue against you in the sense that I would suggest that it might either help you or the team in the long run with regards to, well, getting a feel for A, what cars are best, and B, which car works best for you if you come back and do this thing full time in term 3, because as I was just saying to Kurt Nommensen, we're only 4 weeks away from decisions having to be made with term GT3 getting underway on July 7th, so we're, 6 weeks away from that. We've got 2 Mondays, 2 off, so actually 5 Mondays away from that now. 35 sleeps. It's going to come and go pretty quickly. It won't be too long before you guys start having that discussion. The obviously GT Pro League for the Australian Sim Racing Group is a totally different beast. You've picked your 2 manufacturers there. You're set for the whole year, right? And that goes all the way through to November. There's only 6 rounds there. But we've still got 2 full terms, 10 weeks apiece. So I would imagine that there's part of you that benefits the team. Part of what you're doing now, the research, working out these different cars, benefits the team in the long run when it comes to working out what car you're going to go with and what car some of your teammates might run with in term 3 and 4.
I mean, you're probably right. I mean, if I had to pick a car based off of the 3 races that I've done in them, it would be the McLaren. That felt the nicest to drive. I mean, even if I did pick, a car that wasn't quite to suit my style, I'm sure, we have the knowledge in our drivers to, do setups and whatnot. We've got Ono who can put, really good setups on the V8 in wheelchairs. We've got Tyson who can kind of drive V8s and set up wheelchairs and V8 supercars, and then we've got people like Dench, Harry and Sutton who are just very good and knowledgeable with their setups. They pretty much pick anything and it's really good to drive. So I do mostly agree though. Like, it's definitely, there are different driving styles to each car, which I found out, I think the first race that I did in GSRC, I think I drove the Acura and had a hell of a time. And then the Mustang, I think I drove that at Imola and I found it mostly okay, but I just sort of struggled with the tyre temperature on the front after a few laps. And then today I didn't really have many problems other than my force feedback turning off every 2 laps. So that was fun to deal with.
And it's also interesting, we mentioned earlier that there was no love for 4 of the 10 manufacturers available for selection in the GT3 server tonight. So it's whittled down to Porsche, Ferrari, Ford, BMW, McLaren, Acura. I'm fairly certain I was right in observing. Yes, there's some Audis and Lambos popping up elsewhere, the odd Mercedes and the odd Corvette as well. But in our server, just the 6 different manufacturers utilised in that feature tonight. So talk to me about being part of the Orbit Drop Air stable, mate, because every time I look at that stable, it looks as though you're growing in size and stature. You've done some very good recruitment throughout the course of the year to put together a fairly formidable team.
Yeah, it's definitely a team that's growing. I would argue that it went downhill as soon as I joined. But no, the stable's definitely growing. There's definitely some really good drivers that are currently in the driver lineups, and those that are learning to drive certain cars better. Mostly GT3 drivers coming in at the moment, or LMPH. Is that the right class? I think it's so. But it's a good bunch of lads. I thoroughly enjoy spending time with them. Throughout the week, playing games, racing cars. Even turning up to races like this, just, see how you go, throw a setup on it and hope for the best, which seems to be working well-ish so far for me learning this car, so. Indeed.
Actually, whilst we got you, and we're getting to Louis Greathead momentarily, last 2 things. One, we're going to have to try and get some insight. We're going to have to try and break down the slang, the terminology, the language that you guys throw around, particularly when you're talking about, we know Connor Nixon's wheelchair, but that's already been documented. Connor's openly spoken about that, and if you go on his socials to see that, he's confined to that.
He's not afraid of a 4X.
Not afraid of it. No, absolutely not. But what's all the chatter about milk? Is that an IndyCar reference or not?
No, that was me after a few beers continuously saying milk, and it stuck.
Oh, okay. Right. Oh, no.
Yep, that's pretty much what happened with it.
All right, copy that.
Yep. There's no there's literally no meaning to it. It's just milk. That's it.
It's just the usual banter, and we're all
pretty
here
much.
for that. We love banter, absolutely. Clay Lewis jumping in there and saying what up at the moment as well. Well, what's up is our heart rate after watching GT3 Pro around Monza this evening. Very good stuff. Last one for you, Brad. What's on the agenda as far as racing commitments are concerned this week, mate? And what are your thoughts on Spa next week, and what car you might steer around there, please?
Well, I haven't thought that far ahead, but I might even dabble in the Porsche. See how we go. I might see how that car goes. If it's decent
Offer some more support to Denchi.
Yeah, I think Connor might be turning up in the Porsche as well. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what car works or what the boys think what car might be a decent drive around there. Probably do GSRC in the V8s later this week if I'm around. Other than that,
Long Beach too. That'll be good.
Yeah, actually, I haven't driven the Gen 3s at Long Beach yet. I haven't really driven at a street circuit yet, so that'll be really interesting to race it around there and see how it goes.
All right, mate. You've been very good with your time. It's been good to pick your brain, have a chat with you, get some insight, some intel, introduce our audience, of course, but nice to have a chat on air. You're welcome back anytime. Good luck to you and the Orbit Drop Air stable for the rest of the season, mate. Go well.
Thanks very much, boys.
Hopefully it goes better than tonight in many respects, actually.
Well, I hope so too. Hope there's no I turn left now. Good luck, everybody else.
we don't want you guys parked up on lap 1 at Spa or the Nordschleife, let me tell you. That's a long time on the tow rope. There he is, Bradley Ruddy. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Louis, great head to you to finish things off. Well done. Great result for you on the Vermilion stable tonight. As Brad said, the McLaren was the car of choice, the car to have this evening. You put yourself firmly in the mix as far as the championship's concerned. It's an interesting setup there. I know Adam Lavis is crunching the numbers at the moment. It's second for the round to Jacob, your teammate. First and second for him, third and first for you. Talk us through the challenges of that and how lucky you were and how happy you were to be avoiding the garbage and carnage out there, because there was plenty of it.
Yeah, it was interesting, that's for sure. I think obviously most of that was just survival, as everyone's probably aware. In race 2, the seas kind of just parted for me, so that was very, very good. Race 1, I didn't think I quite had the pace there. Me and Harry had some good racing, so that was fun. But yeah, otherwise, car felt relatively good.
All right, very nicely done. And of course, the second race, it was interesting to watch because you guys made your move and made it pretty quickly, helped by all the rubbish that happened around you. And that kind of made that whole process of the invert and working back through the field, non-existent, obsolete, really. The task was then just focusing on getting through to the pit stop, completing that, hitting your markers, not putting a foot out of place, punching away at the lap times and getting the job done. You guys didn't really have much in the way of competition to contend with for much of that race.
Felt like it did go our way. The McLaren definitely was the stronger car tonight. It seems to be going back and forth between that and the Acura. The Acura is still a very good car. Like I've said in previous broadcasts, it seems to be always decent. It's like the tracks that it's not that strong at, it's still fairly okay at. Where there's a lot of other cars where it's like, yeah, it's good at one track and can be terrible at another.
And as far as the team's concerned, mate, I mean, about that, a 1, 2, 3 in that feature. I mean, I don't want to put too fine a line on it, but it's shaping up nicely somewhere down the line here. I think Harry might have one hand on it already, but it's certainly clear that it's Orbit versus Vermilion in GSRC GT3 at the moment.
Yeah, it's always. This season of Gents has been very, very competitive. It's been very, very fun to race in. There's some good racing generally. So, Harry's rapid. He's got some really good pace. So I think he's going to get it. Unfortunately, I do have to miss next week, so that sort of takes me out of it. But I'm sure Jake can secure some good points.
Indeed, and the other thing as well, when we look at what's ahead, mate. I mean, the final 2 rounds, and then of course that 2-week turnaround. I was just speaking to Bradley about it. There's a lot of love for the McLaren. There's a lot of love for Acura. It's clear there that's still the benchmark, as you said. There's a couple of your teammates that will want to seek some sort of redemption for tonight in the next 2 weeks as well. What are your thoughts on how Spa plays out, whether that's going to favour McLaren or Acura? And of course, that's a nice little warm-up for those of you that are contesting the GT Pro Invitational Series as well, because Spa is the next stop, although it is still a month away. And then the Nordschleife as well. Done with the sprint rounds. You guys have managed to get through that somewhat scotch-free, unscathed. Can't say that for everybody. But now it's back to endurance racing. 60 minutes, single driver, then 90 minutes, and 90 minutes on one of the most daunting racetracks there is.
Yeah, I'm thankful the sprint rounds are over. I prefer definitely prefer the 60 minutes or the 90-minute ones. Endurance racing is more my thing. So yeah, I think for Spa, I think you're probably going to be looking at the McLaren, the Acura again. I think the Acura will still be up there, especially in the hands of Harry. It will definitely be up there. So yeah, I think the McLaren might be the car to go. And then Nords, I'm actually not too sure what the car of choice will be there. But it'll be interesting for next season. Obviously, there's a big GT3 update dropping very soon with new tyre models, new aero packages on all the cars. So hopefully that'll mix things up a little bit.
Indeed. Talk to me about the strength of your stable at the moment. I mean, yes, you headed the field home in that second race, but as I said, it was Jacob winning the round, Jacob winning the first race. I mean, also you had Chapo out there, unfortunately, caught up in incident in the second race. There was also a little bit of gamesmanship, I thought, to be fair, between the third of your stable there in that second race, mate. And I'm just going to bring up the timing screen here. Josh Horton is the name I was looking for. I don't know why I didn't go straight to the timing screen instead of trying to scroll through the umpteen hundreds of names we've got in our GSRC GT3 points matrix at the moment. But there was a bit of gamesmanship there because Horton moved to one side and let O'Reilly through. Did he have a slowdown or did he run out of fuel? Was there something untoward that happened there that led to that, or was it team tactics?
I think he said that he was always going to let him through. Obviously, Josh isn't in the championship at all, whereas Jake is. So, obviously, bit of team games there for sure. But yeah, I think he said that he was going to let him through, but then he also said that he wobbled. So I think he might have actually wobbled, and then Jake got the position.
All right, interesting. And I guess your main fight at the moment is Harry. Working out where you are in relation to just having a look at it at the moment. Adam Lavis will have points up shortly. This is all provisional, of course, pending any post-race stuff that goes on. Race control, we've still got Ben Wood, Sam Stride and Scott Jordison down there debating and deliberating at this point in time. But it's 44 points. Is it salvageable? Can you reel it in? Can you stop Harrison Lawler City's tracks? Or what's the best outcome? Are you seeing an option or a possibility in which you can win this thing? Or are you racing hard and thinking that second might just be where I end up?
Yeah, I'm always going to race hard. Hard but fair, I'd like to think. I think Harry's got it in the bag, to be honest. He's a very, very quick driver. He's extracted the most out of that car every single week. So props to him. This championship is probably his in my eyes. Like I said, I unfortunately have to miss next week anyway. So, and I also don't know Nords, so that would be. I don't have to learn that track very, very quickly. Like I said, I'm away, so unfortunately I can't do the 24-hour. But yeah, I think Harry's been very, very impressive this season. So hats off to him.
Just having a look at your other finishes: 8th, 2nd, 9th, 1st, non-classified 13th. That was a sprint round. That's one of your drop rounds. The 0 will be the other. Everything else is a good points haul to take forward, mate. So with the 0 drop next week and a 13 to go with that, it's going to be very interesting to see what it means in relation to, I guess, you and Jacob Riley and then Matty Dench as well for that fight for second, third and fourth when we get to Nords, if you can be there for that. But I guess it is a little bit disappointing with one eye to the other GT3 Pro Championship that you're in at the moment, that you do miss Spa next week, because there'll be a few guys that'll look at that, even though it's 4 weeks between our Spa and their Spa. I say that, but I'm actually commentating both. So it's, yeah, you know what I mean. That these guys next week get a free 60-minute warm-up in race trim on that circuit ahead of July 4, mate. So how much preparation then goes into, I guess, learning Nords if you want to come and race that in a couple of weeks, but then obviously turning your attention very quickly to Spa on July 4.
Yeah, Spa is a strength of mine. I do enjoy that track. It seems to suit my driving style. So I'm not too obviously I'd love to try and race. I will just not be in the country. So yeah, but otherwise Spa's a good track. I'll put plenty of work in for GT Pro anyway, so not too worried about that. We've also got obviously Majors 24-hour coming up as well around Le Mans, so a lot of prep will be going in for that as well.
How are you enjoying teaming up with the fuel saving strategist that is Sam Chapman, by the way?
Stressful. No, I mean, me and Chapper get along very, very well. We can have some good banter. So I knew that when we were organising GT Pro teams, I knew that me and him would be a good pairing. So
no further questions, Your Honour. Now I'm just having a look too. I haven't seen the full penalty incident sheet for this round of the championship either, but I'm having a look here, and it says Harry Lillis has copped a 10-second penalty for avoidable contact. So he's actually finished 9th in that second race. So that will impact the points equation just a little bit more, I would imagine, but it's still a Vermilion 1, 2, 3 in that second race, ladies and gentlemen. We've obviously covered GT3. Any other racing exploits between now and when you do take off out of the country?
Nah, because I will be landing there in 48 hours. So, but no, GT3 is my main thing. I do a lot of spotting and stuff with the boys in the supercar. Do a lot of the strategy, all that, so they don't have to worry and think about that, which I quite enjoy as well. So, but GT3 is my main car. That's where I seem to have a little bit of a groove at the moment.
All right, mate. Hey, very nicely done. Good to catch up with you. Good to chat as per usual. Well done again tonight, and looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table. Not next week, as you say, you're going to be out of the country, but in a fortnight's time for the grand finale.
Perfect, sweet. Thanks, guys.
From Lewis Greathead to, actually, no, that's it. We'll start to wrap up. My mate Bondi's still in the house, but I would have thought that it was past his bedtime now. There's a school night down there. 2nd of June 2025, night 1, week 8, term 2, 2025, done and dusted. Platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. How are we going in points, Adam Lavis? Everything but Pro-Am. All right, let's start with the M. Let's show everybody the M leaderboard at the moment. Whoa! Liam Amos 362 plays, Sam Woodhouse 325, Dale Atkins 321, Nick Wilcoxon 316, and Quinton and Clerk 267. 95 points covers first through fifth. 4 different manufacturers in the top 4, and 46 points between first and fourth. Nick Wilcoxon still in the hunt despite that 13th place finish in the second race tonight. Looking back through the top 10, only 5 manufacturers in the top 10 there. Porsche, Ford, BMW, Acura, and McLaren. 3 Porsches, 2 Bimmers, 2 Fords. So that gives me 7. Sorry, 4 Porsches. 4 Porsches, that's better. 4 Porsches, 2 Fords, 2 Bimmers, and Acura, and a McLaren. All right, Pro. Have a look at that. Holy cow. Denchi has slipped out of the top 3 with that DNF in the second race. as I said, bit of a boil over, bit of a heated night in the cockpit for so many. Championship defining, season defining. And as I said, everybody, yeah. Just the situation, I think, getting the better of a couple of people tonight, venting their frustrations, their angst, but it fuels the fire for what will be a must-watch final 2 weeks here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Harrison 373, 329 for Louis Greathead, 309 for Jacob O'Reilly, 292 for Matty Denchen. With that admission from Louis Greathead, Harry Lillis definitely has one hand on the title, you would imagine. 271 for Richard Mitchum, Sam Blacklock 266, 237 for Eli Donaldson, 208 for Sam Chapman, Tyson Broad 203, and Nick Wood 198. Denchi's had the pressure and on his shoulders, the target on his back for so much of the last couple of seasons. We've been asking the question, where, when, if will anyone, bring this reign to an end? And now he's fighting to try and salvage a podium finishing position, rather, as far as this championship is concerned. Extraordinary stuff. Thankfully, the 1 hour and 90-minute formats are much more to his liking. Sprint racing always been his Achilles heel, never been as costly as what it might have been tonight, let's be perfectly honest. That top 10, incidentally, 5 McLarens, 3 Acuras, a Porsche and a Ford. So 4 manufacturers in the top 10. You've got, look at that top 10 actually. Again, Adam, if we can bring that back up. 1, 2, 3 for Orbit. 1, 2, 3 for Entropy. 1, 2, 3. Sorry.
Richard's. I think I saw earlier on in the night Richard switched to Vermilion in their little sister team thing. So
Yep. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 for Orbit drop there. 2 for Entropy and 4 for Vermilion, if that is right. If not, it's 3 and 3. But it's a 3-team heavyweight sort of situation at the moment. Excuse me, and we've been waiting for Orbit drop there and Vermilion to go head-to-head. We're finally seeing it, and this is really exciting times for the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Newcastle tonight, of course. Sorry, not Newcastle. That was last time out. Canberra tonight, of course, for the Matildas. GIO Stadium. They were taking on the Argentinians. They have won the second of the friendlies. They've swept the friendlies against Argentina 4-1 this evening. Bradley Radu's gone down to race control to chat to Ben Wood, Sam Stride, Scott Jordison. It's a late night in Discord for some of us. There's no doubt about that. We're down here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Pro-Am Championship points update on Wednesday with Dan Yeaman. Not sure who's with him yet because I can't be in 2 places at once, unfortunately, due to commitments in at Nissan Arena with the Ipswich Jets netballers. But I'll be back for Wednesday nights, week 9 and 10, deputising for Liam Banks. I'll be with you Thursday this week. Still not sure what's going on with regards to Friday this week, but we will have Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in week 9. And in week 10, there's every chance that we'll have 5 nights in the booth. Looking forward to it immensely. We do it with thanks to Waste Options, Sprite and Cider, Trophy AI, Orbic Australia, Bowen's the Builder's Choice, merch.tgsrci.com and Flash Graphics. And on that subject, never too late to get yourself, get your hands on some of our GSRC merch and paraphernalia. Do so by going to the merch store, merch.tgsrci.com or gsrcmerch.myshopify.com. There's the link on your screen. Not too late to get a hold of a shirt or a hoodie or I'm still waiting for the GSRC hoodie. Actually, I've got my Simpsons one somewhere. I forgot to actually pick it up the last time I was in Sescock, but that's another story. I need to bring that back for the winter here in Ipswich. But yes, I'm lobbying for GSRC hoodie. gsrcmerch.myshopify.com. Stubby cooler, stubby holder, bottle opener, t-shirts, hoodies, you name it, they've got it. Always worth a visit, and never too late to get your hands on something there and spread the love and inform everybody what we're all about, and show your support for platforms of the GSRC. There's the lay of the land for what's ahead of us at the end of night 1 of week 8. That's what the rest of week 8 looks like. Tuesday night, GSRC Downforce Legends, Ridge-Kogan Motor Centre. That'll be worth the price of admission just to see how downforce cars go around that little bull ring in Norway, the Ridge-Kogan Motor Centre, or the TV as Chris Whitaker calls it, the Kogan TV. Thruxton then follows for the Titanic Car Racing Challenge. 2 sprint races there. Can't be any better than what we had tonight, I wouldn't imagine, in GSRC GT3 for waste options. My goodness. Sprint racing always brings the best out in our broadcast races and in our club competitors. There's no doubt about that. Trucks are the next stop for TCR, and it is tomorrow night. 2 sprint races, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is the only place you're going to see TCR racing this week because obviously they're not going to Perth. At 7:45 Eastern and 9 p.m. Eastern, the race start times tomorrow night. Wednesday night, how good's that? 25 laps or 50 minutes, whichever comes first. The Orbic Australia ARCA series for the Chicago Street Circuit, 7:30. 8:45, I'm disappointed to be missing this one actually. Long Beach, 2 sprint races, V8 supercars. That is the last of their sprint rounds because they do have in week 10 a super sprint coming up. So next week, the 9th round of the season will be an enduro. That'll be from Sonoma. And the 10th week will be the super sprint, and that will be from the Chicago Street Circuit. So at Long Beach, the first of 2 sprint rounds on street circuits in 3 weeks. Long Beach, the first of a 3-week run. America to campaign, 2 sprint races, and 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thursday night, how good's this going to be? We mentioned Spa earlier, and we mentioned the Nordschleife earlier. You get a taste of both on Thursday night. Circuit of Spa-Francorchamps for 2 sprint races in Super Formula Light, Sprake Cider, Super Formula Light, Wing 7:30 Eastern. 8:45, we up the clock from 40 minutes to 60 minutes. We go racing in the Porsches from the Nordschleife for the Green Hell. That is 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is the full Nürburgring Nordschleife layout, all 25 kilometres of it in its pure glory. 8:45, 60 minutes. Probably, I think it's a 2 compulsory pit stop race and probably only 8 laps of racing, ladies and gentlemen, but it'll be worth the price of admission. Hope you can join us for that. Matt Schmidtke with me for that. Friday night, still to be confirmed whether we're going to have a broadcast or not, but Open Wheel Friday night takes us to Oran Park firstly. I'm so disappointed to be missing that, actually. 2 sprint races there, 7:30 Eastern for the Formula Fords. Then on to Road America, 32 laps in the IndyCars, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I, unfortunately, will be out at, well, not unfortunately, but in terms of not being able to be available for the GSRC, I'll be staying out at the Buckaroo Motor Inn in Warwick, watching Friday night football from the comfort of the hotel on Friday night whilst that's going to air. 8:45, the 32-lap race there for the IndyCars. I don't want to disturb the peace in the hotel or get evicted, so best not to take the broadcast equipment out there. I will take it to the racetrack at Morgan Park, however, because the Prod Sports and the Series X3 Queensland competitors and categories are in action throughout the course of the weekend, and I'm going to be commentating them for you and looking forward to it immensely. That's my assignment. Bathurst, Saturday night, Mountain Men, 32 laps, 8 p.m. Eastern. You'll find out what you'll be steering for that journey on Friday night during the broadcast, or it'll just be announced somewhere on our socials if the broadcast doesn't happen live on Friday night in the absence of Joe Baldwin. And then next Monday night at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, the penultimate round, the second to last stop, Waste Options GT4. 30 minutes to journey there, 7:30 Eastern. Let's hope we have more bums in seats, cars on grid for GT4 after what's been a pretty poor performance, actually. Poor showing in the last few weeks. Waste Options GT4, round 9, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, 7:30 Eastern next Monday night. Then on to Spa for 60 minutes of GT3 heaven. We'll bring you the penultimate race of the season for the Pro Series, and we'll do that from 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But remember to stay with us post-race because we'll also have the results from both the Pro-Am and the Am races as well. So that was where the rubbish started on the replay there, ladies and gentlemen, in the feature race for GT3 Pro. It hasn't really ended yet. There's still debates, discussions being had across the board after a really interesting night out. Probably a night in which we're very happy that we're in the commentary box, not on the racetrack, quite frankly. Chaos at the start. It died down a little bit. It simmered towards the end. It was a rather tame conclusion, but certainly nowhere near the realms of anticlimactic. It was rather tame for the GT4s, of course, at the Charlotte Roval. That was the dominant performance from Jordan Malcolm. And then here, of course, Louis Greathead, Jacob O'Reilly dominant in GT3 Pro. On behalf of Adam Lavis, all the broadcast commentary and production team here, sincerely hope that you've enjoyed it. Waste Options GT night, Monday Night Motorsport across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube, the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Night 1, Week 8, Term 2. We can tick the box. It's done and dusted. Look forward to your company on Wednesday night. Dan Yeoman with you from 7:30 for the Arcas and the Supercars. Look forward to your company on Thursday night for the Super Formula Lights. Matt Schmidtke and I with you for that, and the Porsches. And then, of course, we'll work out what's going on with Friday with Joe Baldwin not available at this point in time. On behalf of the crew here, thanks for your company. Championship defining night. It always is at this time of the year. Sprint racing, fraught with danger. All of the potential pitfalls were on show for everybody to see tonight, but it was Vermilion Esports prevailing at the end of the day with a clean sweep at the podium in that second race, and round honours going to Jacob O'Reilly out of Lewis Greathead, but it's Harrison Lewis with one hand on the title at the moment. 2 races to go, 60 and 90 minutes apiece, 2 legendary circuits to bring us home in the opening half of the 2025 racing year. Of course, Spa, then on to the Nordschleife. Hope you've enjoyed what we've brought you as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Hope you'll come back and join us later in the week as Week 8 of Term 2 continues. Until then, from all the crew here, enjoy what's left here for your Monday evening, everybody, and hope you enjoyed the long weekend for those of you that had one over in Western Australia, the rest of the progressive and civilised states, noting that I stress progressive and civilised because that excludes Queensland. Get theirs this coming weekend. It's a night in which some will be happy to see the back of at the Monza circuit in Italy. Our Italian swing is done. Now we stay in Europe. We go to Belgium and Germany to wrap it all up. Enjoy what's left of your Monday evening, everybody. The first one of June and winter. Look forward to your company on Wednesday. Until then, have a great evening. I'm Zach Caden. Bye for now.